There was plenty of days that I could have just thrown a rope around a tree and would have been a lot easier.
If this bloke's going to build a new building industry, maybe I could like that. Maybe I could love that.
Never got taught about money, and so I wasted it all. You're about to get letters from banks, like they're going to repossess it all. You've just got to follow through. Why am I about to lose everything?
It's just like, this guy's real, and that's the content that you share.
And I'll do whatever it takes to make sure that everybody always gets paid, we always have work.
You're a relatable guy, and that's why I'm here, because I wanted to make sure you were.
G'day guys, welcome back to another episode of Level Up. We're back in the shed today for another cracking episode, and this is going to be an absolute cracker. I actually couldn't sleep last night. This is a bit of an unusual one. We're doing it on a Friday morning, not a Thursday afternoon, which is when we normally record. But to give you a little bit of a backstory into the guest we've got on today, so we've actually got Lewis from Lewis Building here. So if anyone that follows me on socials, they might have seen some stories that I shared. But to give you a little bit of a story or background to this podcast, this is a message that I received on Tuesday, so 4 days ago. So, hey mate, loving the podcast. The way I found you was a post on social media that you did about losing a couple of $100,000 on a job. I love the honesty and could relate heaps to it. I would love to see an episode about your full story, success, failures, and the raw side of the ego and the nightmare clients, the legal battles, all those types of things. Show everyone what happens when you get it wrong. I love the stories on how you just drove around getting nothing done because of the shit show that was going on. This was me. I feel like so many young builders rush into it. So hang on, I'm struggling to read this with the microphone.
The grammar's shocking. We are builders. I apologise.
We are builders, but
should have got my wife to write it.
I feel like so many young builders rush into it, and any of the older builders don't want to share their experiences. This is what happened to me. I rushed into it and started to hate it and fucked people over and fucked me over. So I stripped it all right back and started a carpentry business again and folded my building company up. Now from learning and following your story and your content, I'm ready to give it a go again, this time the right way. P.S. I'll be signing up to Live Life Builds toward the end of the year. The struggle is real. Also, thank you for creating your content. It's actually real. That many fucking frauds are trying to sell themselves as coaches and mentors with no experience. They're just selling a fucking dream, ripping people off. Ripping people off, I have a saying that before you become a builder's coach, show me your balance sheet. Anyway, I messaged Lewis back and said, hey mate, thanks so much for sharing with me. You should come on and do a podcast interview with me so you can get the answers to your specific questions. Do you mind me sharing your message? Hey mate, here anytime to help. And he's like, mate, that's fine to share. I would actually love to come up and interview you. So I said, sweet, let's hook it up. And literally this is only, I think, not even an hour or a bit over an hour from receiving the first message. You've messaged me back and said, mate, we're actually heading up to the Goldie tomorrow or Wednesday. Let's hook it up. So look, you never know what happens from reaching out on social media. And look, in the last couple of days, I passed my number on. We had a conversation on the phone, but the reason I'm so excited about this, mate, is because your passion and that come through the phone was infectious. And I feel like this podcast could go all day and we're going to get on really well. But to give people a little bit of, before you get into asking me questions, can we get a little bit of your background and a bit more in depth? Like you said there, you got into building and it was a bit of a shit show and you wrapped it up. So
yeah, first things first, I probably shouldn't have a couple of beers and go on social media and write some emotional messages to people, but it's all for a reason. But so pretty much. I
hope not, because I think that was like call date in the morning.
That might have been someone else I messaged. Nah, just joking. But yeah, so pretty much my background is I kind of started real young, kind of became a father really young, and that kind of kicked me into gear. So finished my apprenticeship. Actually didn't finish my apprenticeship. I had to move when I was young and I was still a third year apprentice, and I moved to the Central Coast where I met my beautiful wife. And so I tried to get into finishing my apprenticeship. I couldn't get anyone, at the time it was a bit slow, couldn't get anyone to put me on as an apprentice. So I just forged my boss's signature, went into fair trading and got my license, started subcontracting, as probably many people out there did. I still had completed my TAFE and all those things.
Does your boss know you did that?
Probably not. Probably no. He probably. I did call him at the time. It was we had a bit of a falling out at the end because, as I say, my partner got pregnant and I was really young at the time. And I said to him, "Look, mate, I've got to move back to where she's from." And I was kind of like his main man at the time. We were really, really, really close, like really close friends. But at the time, he kind of got a bit upset that he put this much time into me and I had to move away. And I really had no choice at the time. But now, looking back at the situation I'm in now with my young guys, like I can understand the stress and the pressure he was under and the reason why we had a big falling out. So yeah, long story short, I kind of rushed into everything chaotically as I did and worked really, really hard and had a bit of success early. I actually kind of bought into property really young when it was easy to get in, no deposit home loans, stuff like that, and kind of threw a bit of money at it and renovated a few properties. And I ended up getting on with a few really good builders on the Central Coast. Who kind of threw me in the deep end. One in particular, he let me become a foreman straight away, and it kind of threw me in the deep end. And then I realised, look, it's I can do this. So I kind of took all that into my own building company, and I loved it at the time. Like I really, really loved it. I was on the tools, and being in charge, telling people what to do. Who doesn't like that? Like really young. Like I got a big ego out of it, and like a real big head. And, all my mates will second that, then everyone that works for me. And it's only recently got that ego under control. And that pretty much drove me to where I am now. So I started the building company, went guns blazing. And then I just kind of, the shit show that you talk about, that's kind of why we're here.
So how did you get your builder's license?
So out of a cereal box, pretty much. Association, I won't name a name, but they were doing a promotion in the area that I live, like a rural New South Wales, become a builder, and they subsidised the course. So I'm pretty sure it was down from like $6,000 to $1,000. Actually, I stopped you there. I started doing my builder's course at TAFE when I was in Sydney before my partner got pregnant. That was 3 nights a week, like the traditional, builder's course. And kind of got a year into that. And I had to transfer over when I moved to the Central Coast to do the builder's course. And this thing came up where it was like, well, you can come up here every second or third weekend for 6 months and you become a licensed builder. And I was like, no brainer. Like it's quick and easy. Instead of 3 nights a week, I'm going to go that route. So pretty much went there, got given the answers, got given the builder's license, didn't learn anything, didn't really network with anyone there. I'm all there for one reason.
How old were you at this time?
I was 21 years old at that time. So I got my builder's license, I'd say, 22 years old. So I was 21 when, my son was born, and then I got straight back into it. And then, I was about 22. So like when you say young builders out there now, like, traditionally a young builder is closer to 40 than 20. But now, like, the demographic is getting...
these days... Everyone's trying to get their builder's license in their 20s.
Straight away. So I always wanted to be a builder like yourself, and I've followed your story. I always wanted to be a builder. Like you asked me when I was this big, like I ask my sons now, what do you want to do and stuff, and they're a bit unsure, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. But if you ask me, I was like, I'm going to be a builder. And that's when I thought being a builder was traditionally more like a carpenter. So when I look back on it, I wanted to be a carpenter. I wanted to I didn't want to be a builder / psychologist / accountant / project manager / client liaison, all that stuff that comes with it. I didn't know. I just thought I was going to be out in the sun with me Kelpie and me truck and living the dream, and then you find out.
It's a good dream to have.
Yeah, it's a good dream.
Most young people these days can't even figure out if they're male, female, dog, cat.
Correct.
Whatever,
yeah.
Let alone figure out what career they're going to have.
Yeah. No, that's a whole nother argument. But so pretty much I found myself, my building company, it just wasn't for me. I fell out of love. Like I became one of those blokes with all the young blokes that were working for me. A lot of the young guys, I say, working for me are similar age to me, but I was just explaining that same story. Don't do this. Get out while you can. Go west. Get in the mines. Don't, it's a trap. It's blah, blah, blah. And I was just telling that story, and I just fell out of love with the building industry. And then if you read out before my message I gave to you on Instagram, if you scroll back 2.5 years before that, I actually was on a holiday. My wife has this convenient trick of booking holidays at the busiest time of year. 2 weeks before Christmas, we're up at Byron Bay, busiest time of year. And I never used to go away and really be present there at the time. And I was there stressing because I just hated what I was doing. I wasn't making any money. The whole story goes on, as half the people here listening know exactly what I'm talking about. And then I reached out to you on that saying, hey, mate, I'm thinking about paring it all back, just going back into carpentry, trying to get the love back. And you actually rang me then 2 years ago. So I actually when I got your number a few days ago, I actually had your number saved in my phone. I wish I did, because there would have been a few more drunken texts late at night before that. So I wish I knew, but it's lucky that I didn't know, actually. So
well, and you mentioned me the other day that you couldn't believe that. But mate, anybody that reaches out for me, I generally either say, send me your number and I'll give you a call, or here's my number. If you get stuck, give me a buzz.
Yeah, so that's why we're here, because I got like a little notebook down here. So the realness, right, and the relatability. So I found you put out a post, you lost a lot of money. I was in the same position as you. You said it how it was. And I messaged you on Instagram, and I was kind of on this search where I was like, I hate the building industry. And then all of a sudden I see this bloke standing up there saying, well, recently it's just changed the narrative that instead of fixing the building industry, you're going to build a new one. And I was like, well, I hate the fucking building industry, and I could talk about it all day. So if this bloke's going to build a new building industry, like maybe I could like that. Maybe I could love that. So that's kind of why.
That's what we're doing, mate. Yeah. We've done it. Myself and hundreds of builders, like we're running our own show. We're attracting the right clients. We're knowing our numbers. We're learning from our experiences. So jump on board, and
helping everyone else learn from it too. So pretty much I wound down my building company. And then I just went back I found a bit of a gap in the market where I was working for a lot of high-end builders at the time as a foreman and doing my own. That was my background. Then doing my own builds was sometimes you needed 10 chippies, sometimes you needed 2 chippies. So I was like, I might start a bit of a contracting crew and fill the gap for other builders. And I've been doing that now for, say, 3 to 4 years, and it's been working really well. And then I was like, I'm going to just kind of relearn, go back to basics and relearn what I should have learned. Be patient. Instead of becoming a builder at 21, 22, thinking I know everything, go back to the basics, learn how to run a crew of chippies and a crew of employees and manage tasks, and then possibly then have another go at building when then you can manage all the rest of the stuff that you need to learn. So pretty much that's my story. I'm getting to the point now where I'm feeling like I'm ready to go again. And I've been listening to all your content. And then like I love all your content, but you're such a humble guy. Like even here this morning, like you're a bit of a quiet guy. Like you definitely don't have a huge ego or anything like that. We come here, helped you unload the truck. I'm sure your wife would have a different opinion. But we come here, you were unloading the truck, you were on the forklift, we all, chipped in. And it's just like, this guy's real. And that's the content that you share. And that's pretty much, it all just happened and now I'm here. But that's, the journey that I was on was I needed to start again and learn properly. And part of that is kind of getting the right mentors and the right kind of stuff around, the right people around you, as you said.
Well, mate, look, I'm actually a bit nervous. Like for people that are listening, like with this, none of this is, like I don't know what Lewis is going to ask me. We had a phone conversation the other day just so I could get a bit of a background about him, and we chatted about a few things, and we ended up sort of both saying, like, I don't want the questions. Like, I'd rather it just be real.
Yeah, make it real.
And
I respected that.
I don't want to have time to think about things because I don't want to tell bullshit. And it actually really humbles me hearing you say that, because that's the way I want to come across. I don't want to. One thing I really hate, what you see on social media is, and I see more and more of it now. I feel like Amelia and I have been very successful with Live Life Build. She's incredibly successful with Undercover Architect. My building businesses, everything I've been doing has turned around. It's very successful. And I feel like there's a lot of people trying to get in the door with coaching, mentoring stuff. And they've only had a couple of years success, or they might have had a couple of good jobs, and they just don't have the runs on the board. And my biggest fear is it's only going to be more detrimental to the industry, because we're going to have people putting their own opinions across that haven't got the runs on the board, haven't had the experience, haven't been through the failures to learn what you really should be doing. And now they're out there telling other people what they should be doing. So
that's, so pretty much we'll get to that actually. So what's happened here is that
so you're in control now.
I'm in control. We're flipping it over, all right? Live, laugh, build. That's what we're going to call it today. We put it out there. You put it out there, and I got influx of messages, just unbelievable amount. My inbox is just, my ego's flying off. I couldn't sleep last night reading the messages from everyone, what they want to ask Dwayne.
Well, sorry to cut you off, mate, but just on that, you followed through. Like the amount of people that reach out to me, call me, I give advice, we have conversations, even go to Live Like Bill, book in scheduled calls with me and call me about their business, tell them what they want to do. No, they don't follow through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
It's
actually very, very simple to be successful, reach your goals, be financially stable, all those types of things. You've just got to fucking follow through.
Just got to do it, eh?
You just got to do it.
Just got to do it. All right. So, yeah. So like I said, heaps of questions. I can't get through them all. Otherwise we'd be here for days. You know, I've got to run a marathon in a couple of days, believe it or not. So, you know, we can't be here all day. So we'll start with, there was one condition from Duayne and his team. That there was one condition, one thing we didn't really want to go down when a path we wanted to go, like kind of off limits question. So I'm just going to start with it. and we're just going to get it out there, and it is. So you talk a lot about scheduling, overheads, time management. The beard, where does it fit in the schedule? What's in the overheads? Where, like, what? That's just not a natural beard, mate. Like, I'm here sitting in front of Duayne, like, that's what's going into that. How many visits to the barber a week? What waxes, creams?
Mate, honestly, it gets fuck all. Like, I've after this podcast today, I'm actually, me and a group of really good business mates sponsor a charity. We go to a charity lunch every year. This is our 14th year. So I actually made an effort yesterday to go to the barber and have a trim up. But mate, literally it gets a comb each morning.
Was that an invite for me then? Just a slow, did I hear an invite?
Yeah, oh, mate, yeah, come along.
No, just kidding.
Good afternoon. But mate, it literally gets a comb rubbed through it. And probably gets washed fucking once every 2 or 3 weeks.
Once every 2 or 3 weeks. And there's another trend with the beard, right, that I've noticed personally. Like the amount of questions about the beard, I can't grow a beard. You know, this is it. This is me. This is it. So I'm jealous of.
Do you want to know how the beard started?
How?
I think I've mentioned it on the podcast once before, but 8 or 9 years ago, we had actually 7 or 8 years ago, we had a client that, we did the job 7 or 8 years ago, but prior to that, we'd been working with these 2 doctors, through the design process of a job it had gone on and on and on for over 3 years. And just at one, I think I'd been training or I'd been away or something, and at one of our meetings we had, the lady said to me, Duayne, you haven't had you're not clean shaven today. And I didn't think anything of it, but I just made a joke and said, I'm not going to have a shave until we start your job.
Yeah.
And
still haven't started?
No, so the job, like literally it still took another 12 odd months. And before we started the job, I had a beard.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't mind it. So I just kept it.
Yeah, no, it suits you. It's good. It's good. What would it take to get it off, you reckon? There's a charity event coming up. We could get a bit of,
Oh, mate, I reckon it'd be a bit. I've fallen.
Maybe dye it. Maybe keep it, because you could have
I dyed it for Christmas.
Bit of a double chin or something you're hiding under there.
Mate, I've thought about getting rid of it a couple of times, and I actually do really like it, but the main reason it hangs around is because my wife's, and a couple of people told me, like, fuck, don't get rid of the beard. Have you seen yourself before you had a beard?
And then, so with the beard trending, what I was going to say is something I've noticed is it hasn't made an appearance today, but it's the hat. So we were thinking, as the beard gets, are you trying to take attention away from possibly something missing up here? Is that what's happening? Or
mate, the last couple of podcasts I've forgotten the hat. So the hat, I do like my hats.
Yep. So it's not just to hide anything. It's just you're like you're a hat
I've always had hats, even growing up, mate. Like in the like cars and motor racing stuff. Like always had hats to do with something I like. So
yeah. So long story short, you just kind of, it's not too much time goes into the beard.
Fuck all, mate.
Fuck all.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. So
I can't believe I actually get people message me on Instagram quite a bit saying, "What do you do with the beard?" And I look at the beard and go, fuck. Like, I look at other blokes' beards and go, man, you got a nice beard. Like, how do I get a beard like that? And I just think, fuck, mine's just an old scruffy
Could get a sponsorship deal out of this, I reckon. If there's anyone out there that's a barber, got some beard creams or something, Duayne, imagine how good it'd look if you took care of it properly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, well, there we go. That was the bit I wasn't allowed to ask. So, now, first question is, who is Duayne Pearce without all of your labels, without your businesses, without who are you? Without all of that stuff, who's Duayne?
Mate, I'm just a bogan from way back.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of stuff that I could put on socials, and I probably should. I think there's a lot of stuff that I shy away from because I don't know, maybe what people are thinking that. But mate, at the end of the day, Well, you can see them in the shed here. Like, I love a good shed skid.
Yeah, shed skid. You like to hang on to a lot of things, like in a lot of sheds that may never be used again, but just in case you've got them.
But mate, I love cars. I love anything that's fast. I love adrenaline. I love burning rubber.
Yeah.
Like, I've always had tough cars. Even like for a while, I had Australia's it used to go between sort of first and second fastest aspirated street car in Australia. Like, ran 8.1s, 8.0s at 168 mile, 170 mile an hour, naturally aspirated, big block Camaro. And mate, people used to have a go at me at the track because I just love skidding, mate. Like, and the thing, like, I had just under 1,400 horsepower aspirated, so I would. You'd just roll through the water. Like, it had 32 by 14.5 inch tyres on the back, and I'd just roll through the water in second gear, literally just tap the accelerator, hit it straight into third, and just put my foot flat to the boards, and I would skid the entire track.
Yeah, right.
And the blokes I was racing would always get the shits because their car would be sitting there getting hot while I'm still backing back. I love a good time. I love, like, yeah, all my mates back in the day when we were cruising around, they'd love going fast and cruising around. I'd be the one that was looking for a back street or a back road where I could just go and cut hoops and blow tyres off. I had a VYSS Ute for a long, it was the first new car I ever bought. Bought it when I was 22, I think. And mate, I owned that thing for 2 years, and I think it had 10 sets of rear tyres on it.
Yeah, right. So you're a menace. So you're
I just love fun. I love having fun. Like,
yeah.
Like, now we got the farm. A mate of mine's into his guns and stuff. I love shooting shit.
Yeah.
Love motorbikes. Love the beach. Love fishing.
Yep.
Love camping. I just love having a good time, mate.
Yeah, okay.
And for me, a good time is all about the people you're with.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what you got, how much you're worth. For me, a good time is all about cranking the tunes with good friends, family, mates, having a few drinks, sometimes a few too many.
Yeah. So you got a big circle of close friends around here. Is this kind of where did you grow up? Mate,
I grew up mostly in Redcliffe on the north side of Brisbane.
Yep. How was that? Like, how was your, first of all, here's another big question. When were you born, Dwayne?
Mate, I'm a 1980 baby.
1980 baby,
yeah, so
right.
I'm 43.
43, yeah. Yeah, nice. That's a myth out there.
Had a hard life.
Had a hard life. No, I reckon you're going all right for 43.
But mate, to be honest, with what I talk about on the podcast and stuff, like, I've cut a lot of shit out of my life. There's a couple of guys I went to school with that I randomly will message or like shit on social media. There's actually only 2 guys that I went to school with that we still talk on a regular basis. I can't stand the shit, mate.
Yeah, so because it's, as you grow, I guess your circle gets smaller, and that's kind of like people just not on the same journey as you. Is that what it is, or?
Mate, I just got sick and tired of, like, you wouldn't see people for years or months or whatever the case may be. And when you caught up, we were having the same fucking conversation we had when we were 18 out on the piss.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck me. Like, you're whinging about your situation and what's happening in your life. Fucking do something about it. Like,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it becomes a bit of a drag.
So my circle now, mate, is all, like, I hang around genuine people. I love my work team. Don't spend enough, like, I'd put my hand up, I don't spend enough time with them. I really enjoy, we do an annual trip every year. We go away for 4 or 5 days. I really enjoy that time with the team, having a few beers and that type of thing. But other than that, the group that I hang around, or the mates that I have, mate, we're all very similar. We're all passionate. We're all on a mission. We're all growing. We're all successful. And that drives me. I think the people you hang around are a huge influence in the life that you have.
Yeah, what do they say? You want to see your future, look at the people around you. Something along those lines. So you're a 1980s baby. So you're born in Redcliffe. What was your childhood like? What was your family life, childhood, stuff like that?
Mate, going all out. Mate, I had an incredible childhood. My old man worked his ass off to give us, like, we didn't have much. He's definitely the one that installed my work ethic.
Yep.
my old man's a painter. He's actually still painting now. I'm on his back all the time to fucking give it up. But
Do you use him?
we used him, yeah. A lot. We had a fallout a few years ago, which we didn't see each other for a long time. But mate, he was gone a lot of the time before I got up, home at dark, just worked his ass off. A lot of time working 6-7 days a week, and that's where I really I got my passion for being a builder from hearing stories about my great granddad on a farm building, like chopping the trees down the woods, dragging them back, cutting the timber, building the old house that we spent some time in. But also, mate, I couldn't even tell you how young I was, but I would have had to have been only 6, 7, 8 years old. Like, if my old man was working on a weekend, which most of the time he was, he had a Trayback Hilux, 3-seater. He's off-sider. He had Clay, which I actually ended up becoming good mates with. He's the one that got me into fishing and created the passion I had for fishing and being on the water. But like, yeah, I'd sit in the middle. It wasn't a 3-seater, so I would sit on the center console. Yeah. And yeah, Dad and Clay, and I'd go to work, and I just loved it. I loved they'd have the tunes on at work, and then I'd had me BMX in the back. And like in those days, they were doing a lot of work up or around Redcliffe, up around Burpengary, Caboolture, Narangba, those areas, and new housing estates. So basically, mate, we'd rock up the site. My push would be straight out the back, and I'd be riding the neighbourhood. I'd be stealing shit from work sites, nails and timber and shit, and then going back to the old boys' site and fucking making go-karts and just, I just loved it.
The real true childhood. I try to get my young fella and his mates in the school holidays, they come and give a hand on site, and I give them a little bit of cash and just get them out. Because what do you think about these days that the society's kind of missing that freedom, aren't they?
Oh, like, definitely, mate. Definitely.
The Xbox and
the safer we try to make things, the more unsafe we make it, I believe.
Yep.
Like, if you keep telling your kids it's they can't go down the road on their bikes, so they can't go to the park on their own because it's dangerous. Like, it's only getting more dangerous because they're not building up any resilience. They're not learning what they should be looking out for. They're not, like, common sense is out the doors these days. Like, and not only that, mate. Like, in the neighbourhood where we grew up, like I've got to reach out. I've actually just been given the number for a young. So people don't believe this. When I grew up, so from 5 or 6 through to maybe 11 or 12, there was me. So there was Duayne, Dane, Kane, Bane, and the one guy that was out was Mark. Like, so we would literally get on our pushies. We lived at Rothwell, and we used to backtrack it through this cow paddock down to the back of the Redcliffe Aerodrome. We'd jump the fence at the Redcliffe Aerodrome, go down the back, get into the mangroves. There was a creek that came up the back. And mate, we'd spend the entire day there fishing, crabbing. I built this little timber trailer that I used to tow behind me pushy with like 4 crab pots, all the fishing rods, and then we made them for me mates, and we just had an absolute ball. But we had to be. The rule was you had to be home when the street lights come on.
Yep.
And so we had these boundaries, and as long as you stuck to them, there was the odd time where we didn't, and fuck, man, did we get a kick up the arse. But that's made me who I am today. Like, my childhood was amazing, mate. I wouldn't want it any other way. Like,
so you saw your dad out there working 6-7 days a week doing what he had to do. So, like, what do you reckon? What effect did that have on you? Like, him did that?
That's why I'm doing what I'm doing today, mate.
Yep.
So, without going into too many details, like, I love my family to bits. My old boy worked his ass off, and he was the best painter I've ever come across. Even when he was painting our jobs, like, other builders mates of mine would come to our jobs or we'd catch up or whatever, and they'd say, fuck me, like, check out that gloss work. How the fuck do they do that? Like, he's an incredibly skilled painter, but couldn't run a business.
Yeah.
And so I got to see growing up, like, him always striving to achieve more. Like, he'd work his ass off, and then we'd drive around on weekends every now and then. Mum and Dad would be looking at new housing estates and ideas. Mum's right into a house. She loves it. She should have. I still wish she had done something with architectural design, but she didn't. She just stayed at home and looked after the family and never got a job. And so I got to, like, Dad would work his ass off, and then, like, we sold our house and they bought this block of land, and then, like, every weekend he was getting other tradie mates in to build our next home. And one of those was Des and Bob, which I ended up starting my apprenticeship with. Incredible old craftsmen. Really grateful for my apprenticeship with those guys. But it was just always pressure, like always never enough money in the bank, always money struggles, financial struggles, which I saw my dad have to deal with, which knowing what I know now, like he dealt with a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, a lot of depression, probably used a bit of alcohol to fix that every now and then, which led to him and my mum having problems over the years. And I never sort of understood what was going on. Mm-hmm. And then it was actually, then I started work. I got expelled from school about 4 weeks before year 10 finished for fighting. And then I wasn't going back. And my dad said to me, like, you're not fucking sitting around home. Like, you're going back to year 11, like, unless you get a fucking job. And I was straight onto I didn't even know what to do. I'm like, well, how do I get a job? So Dad put a call out to people he knew. And at that point in time, it was very slow. No one was, people were struggling to get work, let alone employ people.
So how old were you then when you, like?
Although I turned 15 in September.
Yep.
And I got expelled from school in November.
Yeah, right. Fighting a common pattern of
no, mate, I'm definitely not a fighter. I hate fighter. I actually got teased quite a bit at school.
Yep.
I hated school. Hated it with a passion. I never put my hand up. The only things I was good at was back in the day it used to be called graphics. It was shop A and shop B, which was metalwork and woodwork.
Like a physical learner, like you got to see, touch.
Yeah.
What was the teasing kind
which
of?
most of our industry is. I was just super shy, mate.
Yeah.
Super, super shy. And then, and did really struggle with anxiety.
Yep.
Like I remember through year 8 and 9, like, mate, there were a lot of days where I just could not go to school.
Yeah.
Like I'd just work myself up so much. And I'd be in the car and my mum would be telling me to get out of the car and I'm just like, I'm not going to school. Like, and so that put extra pressure on because then the days I'd go to school, people would bag me out for not being at school.
Yeah.
And that was what the fighting was always about.
Yeah.
So the fighting would always start because I was a shy guy that had anxiety and I didn't like fighting, but if I got pushed, I'd retaliate.
Yeah.
And the one that I got expelled for was a bloke had been giving it to me and I ended up giving him a hiding in the paddock after school one day. And then we were having an end of year assembly and I walked out of the hall and I've leant down to pick my bag up and he's run over and fucking kicked me in the head. So it was on for young and old. And I got expelled.
Yeah.
But, so I asked, I couldn't get a job through my old man's mate. So shit, mate, getting a bit emotional about going back to all this old school shit.
It's good because the reason I ask this is because I've actually been through a bit in my life and, you get help in these questions that come through. Like, so you're a very resilient person and you do a lot for a lot of people, right? That's just what you do, believe it or not. And a lot of that resilience comes from going through childhood trauma and things that you've gone through. Like you talk about your dad working his ass off, not being able to, being in fights at school because you're bullied. Like that's like, I've got young boys. That'd be the biggest fear of mine would be for them to suffer from anxiety and to be bullied by other kids, Yeah. And to be able to push through that, like that's a big deal, like, and get to where you are now.
I thrived when I got away from it. So I couldn't get a job. So I was told to read some papers and just only literally like 10 minutes from where we are now, at Brendale, it used to be called Northside Truss and Frames. They had an ad in a paper for just a person to help in the yard. And I rang them up, went for an interview, and they're like, "Oh, you're really young, Duayne," and blah blah blah. And
you felt like the anxiety dropped away a bit when you?
No, so
was it easier to be in the workforce than at school?
Oh, 100%. But it was there for a little while, but they said, "Oh, what you're young, Duayne. Like, why don't you want to finish school?" And I said, "Mate, all I ever want to do is be a builder. I want to work with timber." And I said, "I can't get an apprenticeship, so I'm going to do whatever it takes until I can get an apprenticeship." And they basically just put me on because of my enthusiasm. And so obviously I didn't have a license at that stage. So my old boy at that time had got out of painting and had bought a Tallman's franchise and was running a paint shop at Lawton. So I would have to get up like 4:30 every morning, drive with him to the paint shop. Then I'd have to help him set up the shop, put out the signs, pull the roller doors up. If there was orders to get ready, get orders. So I learned how to tint paint and do that sort of shit. And then on the odd occasion, he could take me because the trust, I think we started work at 6 or 6:30, which is only 15 minutes from where he is. He would drive me, but most of the time it was the BMX out of the back of the ute, and I'd have to ride to work. And then my first job was they'd just installed this back in the day, like it was the duck's nuts, like it was this computer operated saw that sort of went in and out, had 4 blades on each end. And I had to load the trolley. So there was a guy on the other side operating it, and the timber would come through the saw, and we would basically cut all the top and bottom cords for trusses. And then I had a sheet of paperwork on my side. The machine would spit the timber out, and I had to load it onto trolleys and mark it what member it was. And then I'd push the trolley out into the yard into a line, and where the guys that assembled the trusses would pull the timber out. And so I did that for ages, mate. So literally I'd just stand at the end of this saw and when you do trusses, so you have all your truncated and your hip trusses and your valley trusses, so most of them are very different. So on some jobs you might have 2 or 3 the same, but if it was a large gable roof, or when you got to your standard trusses, and I don't know, you might add 20, 30, you could add 100 of the same truss. Fuck, mate, that saw would spit out those sticks of timber like flat out. Yeah. And I would be, oh man, it was a mission. And basically, and then when the guy on the other side, when each job would stop and he was loading timber or whatever, mate, I'd have a broom. My area of where I worked was spotless. I'd be shoveling sawdust. I'd get the guy on the forklift to drop a bin off. I'd shovel the shit in the bin. And mate, it literally only took 2 or 3 months, and the owners of that business, even though I was young, I worked my way through there. So
what's this, about 15-year-old?
Yeah, I was 15.
15, yeah.
I ended up moving out to the yard, and I helped stack timber. And mate, so I was 15, and it blows my mind. I see it these days, and it was like I didn't need to go to gym. Like by the time I'd been in the yard for a couple of months, mate, I could walk out to a pack of timber, and I could put my hands around 4 6.0s, 90 by 35, M12, and I could just roll them over onto my shoulder, and I could walk them back to the saw.
Do you ever get the shits now seeing the young fellas on site carrying one at a time?
Yeah? It drives me insane.
I can imagine you cracking the whip out there.
It drives me insane. But look, again, I know, and I did that because I was brought up hard. Like you work hard, you show people what you're doing. But reality is, mate, that led to between that, riding motorbikes, downhill, like I got into downhill mountain biking for a long time, had some crashes, but between the sport and working my body that hard, I completely fucked my back. And by my mid-20s, I was told I'd be in a wheelchair by the time I was 30 because I'd fucked all me shit. And luckily I never had an operation. I deal with it naturally now. But and then I ended up running a saw. I got moved to a huge handheld saw. So it was like this big spider saw that you grabbed the handle, you pulled it out. It was really good. Like I got to learn a lot about documents, like every truss plan was different, measurements, accuracies, all those types of things. And so then for a long time I had my own saw, and I would cut all the webs.
During this period, were you actively, were you kind of all in there, or were you still trying to think, I want to get out on site? I was
still reaching out. And
then just times are quiet.
So then it was really good. So then back then, like it changed a lot now, but back then builders would still come into that yard. So they sold stick framing, they sold timber, they did pre-nailed frames, they did trusses, floor systems, lots of stuff. So I actually got to meet a lot of builders. Like builders would come in the yard, and at school, like I would never talk to anybody. But for some reason, I think given that the people, like the supervisor at this truss company, the owners of the company, the leading hands, like everybody just kept installing confidence in me. Like they saw how hard I worked. They kept giving me a pat on the back. And so when builders come in the yard, like I just started getting this confidence. Like I'd ask them how they are, and I cut a job for you the other day. Hey, you got another job coming up? Like I just started these conversations, and I actually ended up getting quite a lot of job offers from builders that way, or a lot of builders saying, "Oh, mate, when it picks up, like if you don't want to work here, like I'll put you on." But
it's an interesting point that you make about, like with the anxiety and stuff at school. And then when your environment changed, that kind of went away. And like for other people to learn from this, that sometimes, kids, there's a lot of stuff around at the moment, as you know, and like there is an option that maybe the school isn't the best place for some kids. And outside of that, like leaving school to get an apprenticeship isn't to be frowned upon. It can change someone's life. And look where you are now. Look where, people you can get to.
It's when you find your place, you're a different person. And so everyone working at that yard, so over the time I was there ended up being a few other young guys. No one was as young as me. There was some 18, 19-year-olds, but I ended up hanging out with like guys in their mid-20s, 30s, 40s. They had families, had kids. I enjoyed the conversation at Smoko. Like there was no, like mate, we had Nokia 3310s. You could send fucking 100 digits, like text messages.
Playing Snake.
Got to learn a lot, mate. All the boys had all their fucking people and picture magazines, so got to learn a lot about that side of life from them and their conversations. There was no Tinder, mate. Tinder.
I was going to say, it's a lot different now with the smartphones.
But, so then it just, like, it was like I was with people I could relate to. Yeah. And so I thrived. And then I ended up hanging out, like these guys were into their cars as well, which I thought was great because growing up, like, my mate's dad or my dad were at Lakeside at the races or the touring cars or the drag strip, and the fact that these guys were in their cars, so like they had their XD Falcons and their Monaros and Tiranas and Gemini, like they'd drive this stuff to work, and I was just in my element. And then I started hanging out with them after work, and then the industry picked up, and we started doing, and they'd put it out there like who we would do overtime, and I started to I was driven because I started getting right into my mountain biking. And so I set this goal. There was it's actually that mountain cycle up on the wall over there. So I was 16 years old. That bike was $6,700.
Wow.
And so I got right into my downhill mountain biking, and I set a goal. I used to go to the bike shop. So I rode every Saturday and Sunday, and I learnt from the guys at the bike shop. Like I started putting together what my ultimate bike would be, and they priced it up. And so I had this goal of what I wanted to get to. And then the industry picked up. They started doing overtime. And so every day, mate, my hand was up. And some days I would do 2 shifts. And like I'm 15, I worked there until I was just under 17.
Yep.
And
so that goal setting and that, you started at a very young age. Because to be that, like back in that day, that's a lot of money. It's still a lot of money now.
It was a huge, so to give you an idea, mate, that was, my weekly pay was, I think it was $194.
Wow.
And so I did the numbers. Like I knew how much I got an hour. I forget what it worked out to, $6 something or whatever it was. And so that bike, like, was almost a whole year's pay.
Wow.
Like just over a whole year's pay.
Wow.
But I worked that out. So I took every single bit of overtime. So a normal shift, I think, was 6 or 6:30 to 3:30. Like we had time cards. Like it was actually, the siren would go off. You had to walk to the clock, pull your time card out, put it in the machine. It'd clock it. Like there was no bullshitting your time. And then when they offered overtime, so the siren would go, you'd have to go, clock in your card, and then you'd have to put it back in to start the overtime. And so a lot of the older guys were doing the overtime as well. So I ended up spending a lot of time with them because we'd stop for dinner. So the company would put on dinner. So like whatever it was, 5:30 or whatever, we'd all sit down for half an hour and we'd have dinner. And then a lot of time we would work till 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And then like Dad had gone home then. So then these guys started giving me a lift home, or they'd drop me in my pushy off somewhere, and then I'd ride the last bit. But
so I guess that original work culture that you had really set you up well, because if you were in a different environment where a lot of people hated their job and were into different things.
Oh, mate, they all hated their job.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
There wasn't too many of them there. Like there was one old forklift guy in the yard, mate, old Mel. Mate, even with the saws running and the earmuffs on, you could hear this bloke out in the yard, like just swearing and going off his nut about shit that was going on in his life.
Yeah, right.
And if anything, I was like, fuck, I do not want to turn out like that bloke.
Yeah. Well, there's some characters at the old frame and truss companies.
Yeah, but like, yeah, basically went from the big saw, timber yard, stacking the timber, got my own saw. Because the other thing that really ended up driving me was I learnt very quickly it's all about the value you add. So the harder I worked, the more output I had. The supervisor was picking up on this. The owners of that business would quite regularly come down, like old Don was one of them, and he'd come over and stand beside me and give me a tap on the shoulder and like, geez, Duayne, you're going well, buddy. Like you're only young, like you're getting into it. And basically, long story short, I then moved on to truss assembly and worked on the truss assembly line for maybe 3 or 4 months. And then the guy that my old boy had tried, that actually built our home that we were living in, and my old boy tried to get me on with, his business had picked up. And I finally got an apprenticeship when I think I was just about to turn 17.
17. Right. So young Duayne now 17, he's got his apprenticeship. Explain that. So you're going into that. What was your, like, through your apprenticeship, what was your mental health like? What was your like that? How was that for you with the guys you did it with, do you reckon?
It drove me.
It seems like at the frame and truss company, you came out with a lot more value than you went in. You learnt these lessons and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that what you wanted to do? Is that how it kind of continued through your apprenticeship?
Yeah, well then by that time I'd got my license as well. So
no more push bike.
No more push bike. The old boy had found me this old HZ Kingswood Ute, 253, M21, 4-speed. And so we rebuilt that. So in the back of my dad's paint shop, another really good mate of his, Mark, which I ended up becoming good mates with as well. Mate, there was lots of late nights. Mark and my old boy had been blind drunk, and yeah, we rebuilt the motor, we painted it, we did the whole lot on that thing, and then I drove that to work. So when I started my apprenticeship, I had a Ute. And
did your interest change at all? Were you still into downhilling, like, getting your license, chasing girls, starting to
so it
coming
fell
of age
over,
of drinking and that?
It fell over quickly, mate. It's so, and I put everything. So without sounding like a dick, I had huge plans. I wanted to be in the downhill mountain biking at the Sydney 2000 Olympics.
Yep.
Which I was well on track to.
Yeah, wow.
They didn't have downhill. It was going to be cross country. I did that as well. And I was definitely...
So you've always set big goals. Like,
Yeah. But back then, I didn't follow through. Like, so I went to a few state titles and things. I remember going to one down at Mudgeeraba, and I just got overwhelmed, got anxiety, fucking my asthma. Like, back in the day, I used to get bad asthma, and I just fucking pulled over on the side of the track, fucking puffing my puffer. I'm like, fuck, I can't do this anymore. But yeah, basically got my license. Yeah, turned 18. Even before I turned 18, like, discovered alcohol, discovered girls.
See you later, mountain biking career.
Yeah, it was out the window. I used to, there was nothing better, mate, than Friday, Saturday nights cruising around with my mates in our V8s and bloody picking up chicks and just having a good time.
Yeah, bloody oath.
But my apprenticeship was... when it started really well, like, I could not believe it that I was getting the opportunity to fulfill my dreams. And Des and Bob that I did my time with were just incredible old guys, mate. Like, and look, I don't even know how old they would have been at the time, to be honest. Like, they would have been in their 40s, 50s. I thought they were old, but just absolute craftsmen. And I'm so grateful for what they taught me. But mate, just pushed me like a dog.
Yep.
Like, so my name was Young'un, and just all day, every day, it was just, fucking Young'un, where are you? Like, fucking get that back here. Like I mean, that all day, I had to run, and it wore me out. And just, I got driven really, really hard. And like, I tell my team now, and they think that I'm full of shit, I think, half the time. But I've told this story a few times. Like, we started off doing a lot of custom work, and then things slowed down again, and my boss took on, I think they're still going now, it was called Villa World. So Villa World would actually like develop the estate and then build all the houses, and then just get contractors. And it's actually how, so Todd, my supervisor now, he was one of the contractors working beside us. That's where I first met him.
Yep.
And so we would go in, it was all stick frame, and they range between 180 and 220 square metre homes. And my boss was very, looking back, I didn't realise at the time, but he was very systems driven. So he would have we would turn up to site, he would have a full cutting list. I've definitely told this story over again if it sounds like a broken record, but basically we would turn up, he would give me the cutting list, and then I would have to cut flat out. Him and Bob would go and flick the slab out. As soon as they flicked lines, they would start giving me, so while they were flicking lines, one of the jobs I had to nail 2 plates together, top and bottom plates. As soon as they finished flicking lines, they would give me the measurement, so I had to start cutting plates.
Did you enjoy that?
I loved it, mate.
It's good. It's good fun, isn't it? Sticking frames and working out there.
I loved it, mate.
It's good.
And look, I loved the push for a while, and my aim what wore me out is my aim has always been, and I wish more people had this in them, but my aim every single day that I went to work was to impress my boss.
Yep.
Was to make him think that, fuck, he worked hard today. Fuck, he got done more than he should have got done. I don't see that anymore.
Yeah. What's the saying? If you work for someone else like you're working for yourself, you can be successful. I used to be like that too.
People don't realise they can be just as successful as a business owner if they work like the business owner.
Correct.
Like if my boys did things as fast as I could do them, fuck, every month I'd be saying, hey, do you want a pay rise?
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to work your way up do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Like,
speaking of that, you reckon you could sling the nail bag on and still, do you reckon you still got what it takes? You reckon you still got it in you?
I'd give it every
every
shot.
go?
Yeah. Well, I do it now, mate. Like
Yeah.
I renovated this house, a lot of our own house. I'm doing all the work on our farm. I'm definitely not as quick as I used to be, but I would give it a red hot crack.
Because young Dwayne coming out of his apprenticeship, being ridden like a donkey, a dead horse, I can see you as a young man, right? So you come out of your apprenticeship, and what do you get straight into subbing? Is that how it works?
So I didn't finish my apprenticeship.
Didn't finish.
So just to go back a little bit, so that wore me out. And just to finish that story, basically we would do a whole stick frame, plumb straightened, bolted to the slab with chem set, bracing ply nailed off, ready for trusses most of the time in a day.
Wow. The
following morning we'd be starting a new frame. And then when the trusses showed up, we'd go back and do the truss. We'd do the trusses in a day. So just
packs of timber. Everything was cut to measure. It wasn't not prefabbed at all.
Nothing was cut. We cut everything, mate. It turned up in packs, and like people.
What timber was it back then? Pine.
With those jobs, mate, it was all 70 by 35.
70 by 35,
yeah, untreated. But and then, like I said, I loved getting pushed because that's made me who I was today. But what wore me out was I didn't get appreciated. I shouldn't say that. He didn't show me he appreciated it. I know he did.
Yep.
Because other people would tell me. And he was a great old, like Des was fantastic, mate. Like I loved him. I reached out to him a few years after when I'd started subbing. Over the years I talked to him, and I really told him how grateful I was for what he did. But it wore me out, and I stopped. So what happened where we were living, there was a builder that lived up the road from me. And I used to just catch up with him. I used to mow his lawn. So as well as being a chippy, like every spare minute I had, if I had some, I would mow people's lawns.
What was the goal then at that time? Like doing all that extra work and pushing yourself?
I was just driven, mate. I wanted to have shit.
You wanted to have shit.
Well, yeah. I think I'd already seen from the struggles my old man had. Like I didn't want to ever be in positions where I had to, if I wanted shit, I wanted to be able to get it.
Yep.
I didn't want to have to be worried about money. But the flip side of that is I never got taught about finances. I never got taught about money. And so I wasted it all.
Yep.
And I got myself into debt, which led to lots of problems. But so I ended up, this guy, David Lee, which again, incredible tradesman and taught me a lot. So I just I had this thing in the back of my mind, like, fuck, I'm going to go and work for Dave. I'm going to go, because he was always hitting me up. He's like, fuck, you work hard, like come work for me. And I just said to him one day, I'm going to leave Des if you got any jobs. And mate, it was so hard. Like it was so hard for me to tell Des that I'm leaving and it was fucked because when I told him I was leaving, that's when he told me how
much he appreciated too late.
And I was like, mate, I've made the decision. And I went and did another, so that was 2 years, a bit over 2 years, and then I went and worked for Dave. And Dave was the same as every other tradie I'd met up until then. Like, face value, I thought he was killing it. But as I started work for him, so before I went and worked for him full time, I went and did some Saturdays for him. And it was just awesome. Like, it was me and him. Like, he was the builder, I was the apprentice. That was it. He had a building franchise, so he had other chippy gangs, but I was helping him. And same deal, cranking the tunes, talking about mountain biking and what we'll do on the weekends. And he had a ski boat, so I got right into water skiing. And we were good mates. And so I was like, fuck yeah, I can't wait to work here full time. This is going to be awesome. And then when I started full time, and the same shit, like the stress of him running his business was put onto me. So like, he was running a shit show. So I've talked about this as well before. Like, I would literally get, like, so my job was to back the ute up in the morning, load the gear on the trailer. He had a lot of shit at home, like I have here now. I'd load the gear up, get ready. He'd come out of the office all stressed out, always running late. We'd go to the job site. His phone would be ringing and carrying on. And then a lot of time we'd turn up to site, get set up, and shit would go wrong on another job. So he'd leave me. And like, people think that I talk shit, but like, mate, I had to soffit houses on my own, like 24 by 12 soffit sheets doing patio areas. Like, I had to teach myself what to do.
That's not easy, by the way. Yeah,
I had to come up with ways of like
and
props and shit, and like, and that was like getting into PVC cover strips. Like,
that's.
And then again, that stress built up, and it got to a point where it was all put on me, and he was always telling me that I was an incredible worker. I can't believe you do this and that. But he was also, fuck, why haven't you finished that yet? Like, why is this? And like, so he would come back after leaving me on a job all day. Why haven't you got this frame finished? Why haven't you got these feet finished? And like, I never spoke up. I was never like, fuck you. Like, I'm on my own. I just took it every day. Yeah. And it got to a point where, because
you still wanted to impress, didn't you? Like you were saying before, when he was gone, you were just rushing around, skipping lunch, going, fuck, I want to, when he comes back, make him say, good on ya. And then that just never came.
Yeah. And and then because I lived down the road from him and we were in the same vehicle, like, it went from being that awesome conversation, cranking tunes, having to sing on in the truck together, having a beer on the way home from work, to just being silence. And then like, this is fucked. Yeah. And so I ended up being with him for 18 months, and I didn't finish my apprenticeship. And similar to you, like, I didn't fraud your signature, but I basically had to hound him for a little while, because he was pissed when I said I was leaving. Yeah. He's like, why? I remember it. Like, why are you leaving? Like, am I not good enough? Like, he went on with all this bullshit. Yeah. But again, knowing what I know now, it was everything that I saw growing up, through the trust factory, through my dad going to work with him, through my two bosses I had during my apprenticeship, and then it continued into my contracting career, was the stress of running business just fucks people up. Yeah. And then I fell into that. So I guess to go on to your next question, by that time, my old boy had sold his paint shop and was back painting. So even when he had his paint shop, he still had painters running. And so I just thought my old boy was incredible. I thought, he's just this incredible person, hard worker, business person. But there was always this stress there. But he worked for this developer in Brisbane, who I really looked up to as well, and wanted to be like. Like, so he would buy land, build unit developments, and like and still is very, very wealthy. And so I ended up going and painting with my old boy for 18 months. Yeah, right. And it was actually a good reset, mate. Like, you'd just go to work, same thing, you'd be cranking the tunes with all the, like, I think at the time my old boy had between 10 and 20 painters. And you just literally sit on scarf, fucking slopping a brush around.
If you can piss, you can paint. Nah, just joking. And it's cruisy. Like, that's a different vibe, I guess, to what you were doing before.
Yeah, but same deal, mate. I put everything into it, and that developer ended up just like, every time he come to site, I was like, "Hey Tom, how are you, mate?" Like, But yeah, he ended up pulling me aside one day and said, "Hey, Duayne, you're a chippy, aren't you? Like, why aren't you being a carpenter?" I was like, "Oh, just fucking whatever." And he's like, "Do you want to do some work for me?" So yeah, I basically took that on straight away.
So this is like prefab work as well, kind of?
It was all stick frame.
Stick frame, yeah.
It was townhouses.
Yeah, stick frame and townhouses, like new development kind of stuff.
Yeah, but how he worked, fuck man, we're going through my whole life.
This is good. This is your life, Dwayne. This is what we want to know. This is what we want to know because you're such a private person.
What's the show on TV, bloody? This is your life.
This is your life.
Are you going to bring out all these people? So he had carpenter gangs that would do work for him. Some of them would come and go, but he had a reasonably large team. I think there was maybe 8 or 10 that when there wasn't contract carpentry work would just do everything else. Mm-hmm. So I ended up getting involved with that. So mate, he did everything from buying a block of, like, I remember being in the valley and like he would buy blocks of old brick units and then they could be 6, 8, 12, 20 and we would completely refurb them to like buying blocks of land at Bowen Hills and stuff, which you talk about now, like these days you just couldn't do it. Like they'd be 20 or 30 million dollars. Like he would buy a couple of acres and we would build 80 townhouses.
Yeah, wow.
So as well as so basically we would get, so how it started, I was just one of the general carpenters. So we did everything. We built decks, we did landscaping, we did paving, like whatever had to be done.
For this developer.
Yeah, he had his own people and he coordinated it all. And then again, he just saw how I worked, and one day he said to me, "Do you want to do contract work? Do you want to?" So I ended up teaming up with one of the other carpenters. We put on one apprentice. And
was it like purchase order work or priced work? Purchase order.
Yeah, all priced work. It was $7,700, mate. We'd get for every 3-story townhouse, and that was stick frame, cladding, internal fit out, like the whole lot.
Wow. You got to be moving fast.
And yeah, we had to move. So same deal. And so I knew the numbers. How
old are you at this point?
22.
22, yep.
22, probably going on 23.
Yep. So you team up with one of the other guys, you start taking on a bit of price work, and then so that's where we're at now. You're 22 years old. Keep going. So we're 22 years old, and then because here we've got the one of the questions that came through was you ran a chippy crew of up to 30 plus 50 carpenters. Like that is just like unbelievable. Like it's like I run between 6 and 10 carpenters and that's enough. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot. So this is where that all kind of started. Yeah.
So basically I just started doing that, mate. Long story short, he couldn't keep the work up to me. So, but even through that, so I teamed up with this guy.
Were you making money? What you thought was making money?
Well, I thought I was making money, but wasn't paying super, wasn't paying work cover, didn't have the business side of things set up correctly. But at the time, I thought I was making, I guess I was for my age.
Yeah, yep.
But he couldn't keep up the work. So I started, by that time, I was really hungry for it. So I started reaching out. And people had heard, without sounding like a dick, like people had heard about my crew and what we got done. So they're still going now. They're called GVG, Design Construct. We got in with them, and that enabled me. So actually before we got in with them, I was still working for that other developer. So I was working like a dog, mate. So I'd like still going out and partying. Like I would go out with my mates.
Were you still living at home at this point, or you got out?
I'd just moved out. With a mate of mine had bought a house and I moved in with him. But mate, I would work all day, and like I can't remember if it was Wednesday or Thursday night. It used to be a nightclub in the city called Mary Street, and we used to it was called Scary Street because when they turned the lights on, you didn't know what was in there. But yeah, a couple of nights a week, mate. Like I was out to all hours of the night, early mornings, drinking, playing up. And I'd still show up to work on time. Yeah. I'd still smash out a full day's work. Like, I never ever did not show up to work because I was hungover or whatever. I just dealt with it.
Through it.
I remember having a few spews on site.
How are the hangovers now? Can you handle them? I don't. Get worse as you get older. Mine have anyway.
I've learned to. I don't. Occasionally, I have Well, yeah. Occasionally I have a big one that hits me hard, but
I'm
I've learned to
a
eat.
two-dayer.
I've learned to eat and drink water before I go to bed, mate. But yeah, then the guy I was partnered with, he'd want to knock off at 2:00 every day, and on Friday he'd want to do a half day, and then he still wanted to split the profits from the jobs, and then I cracked the shits with that. So then we started tracking hours, like each other's hours, and then
So was it like a handshake partnership or like
yeah, it was a handshake partnership, and then I got the shits with that. So then we started tracking hours, and the profits got split by how many hours you worked. And I always did a lot more. And at the end of the day, he was comfortable doing what he did, and I was never going to do that. So we parted ways. We both still continued to work for the same developer, but I started my own crew. And reached out to other builders, and basically the rest is history with that, mate. Like, we just killed it. We ended up doing work for multiple developers. We got in with a few volume builders, and I just kept building the team. People loved it that I was so driven. And I was killing it, mate. Like, I thought I was. I was taking all the cash. I wasn't paying taxes properly. I was like I said, wasn't paying super, wasn't paying work cover, all that type of shit. Like,
that kind of hard ass apprenticeship, that way that you got, dragged through. Did you continue that and instill that in your business early on?
So I drove everyone like a dog, mate. I was the guy then yelling at people like, why haven't you got this? I need this. Come on, let's keep going. And like, it wasn't just me then. So as I built up and we probably constantly ran at between 20 and 30 chippies for a long time, like for 6 years or more at our peak. I can't remember, it was like 42, 48, but yeah, we had a lot of guys, and so I had a few good lead guides, but the work that we ended up getting into, and so everyone loved, so I was 24 when I bought my first F truck. I only bought the F truck because I walked into a boat shop down in Gold Coast, wrote a check for $186,000 for a boat at 24 years old, and then figured out it was too big to tow with my VY SS Ute, so I went and bought an F truck. I still remember the people at the dealerships thinking like, "Fuck you, like, you can't afford this shit. Like, what are you doing?" Everyone used to think I was a drug dealer.
Yeah, right.
Even the neighbours where I lived, like by that time I'd bought a couple of houses with my parents, and the neighbours told my mum that I was a drug dealer.
Right.
Because I was never home.
Yeah, right.
And they couldn't work out why I had this 28-foot boat in the front yard and an F truck. But what I was getting to with the F truck was that led on to, because I had a big truck, I built big trailers. So I ended up having trailers that had everything we needed for all those groups. So I had multiple compressors, fucking 12 nailing guns.
So this is at 24. You're at 24 years old. So you've got about 30 blokes.
I had enough of everything that the teams had the tools to use, but we also had backup if shit broke. And then by that time, I would go to one job, get one crew set up, and we're still doing. So when we were doing whatever 10, 12, 18, 20, 40 townhouses, like, it was easy to have heaps of guys because a lot of the time you would have 20 guys on one site.
Yeah.
So I would go to a site, get everyone set up, make sure all the tools were all sweet, and then I'd jump in the F truck, drive to another job, make sure that was all going really well. And then that was like, so I figured out I could always get the work. I could always get the work done, had no issues building the team. Looking back now, I wasn't running the team well. I was young, so everyone loved working for me because, man, the work parties we had were... I'll tell you some stories away from this, but it'll change people's opinions on me. But, mate, we had bikie gangs turn up. We had my mates in tough cars turn up. We had burnout competitions. We had live bands in sheds.
Speaking of the toughness, we've got one here, the tattoo.
Yeah.
What does it say again?
Pay up.
Pay up. So how old were you when you got that?
That's 26, 27.
26. So it's a pretty intimidating thing to get that tattooed on your arm, like, pay up. So you're obviously, you're not don't fuck with me kind of guy, because that says don't fuck with me. I'm
not a fighter, mate.
Honestly, not saying a fighter, but
I couldn't.
But you're being humble. You would have been like, to get that, like young Dwayne, you're an angry man walking around. I can see it in your eyes, that you would have had a point. You might not be a fighter anymore, but
I never was a fighter.
Yeah.
Lots of my mates were fighters, so I always.
So what was your reputation, you'd say, back then? You're 26 years old, you're driving around an F truck, your arm's hanging out the window saying, pay up. Like, you know, there's an image.
That tattoo come because I ended up spending a lot of my time chasing the builders that I was working for money. And I don't know, it was an ego thing, I guess, or a bit of a wank thing. But like my missus still gives me shit to this day, mate. It's why I've actually started training again now. Like she gives me shit that when we first hooked up, like she just used to love like everyone used to, like I was not being a dick, but because I was worked so hard, I never went to gym. Everything was because I was on the tools. And I'll never forget it. Like I had this young guy, Dan, surfy guy working with me, and he was a big lad. And we were doing these townhouses, and the party walls were tilt panel buildings. And between them, they had they were huge glulam beams, like 460s by 85s or whatever. And everyone used to comment because I would jump on one end, there'd be 2 or 3 guys the other end. I would put the beam on my shoulder and I'd walk up the ladder and put it on the boot. And everyone used to say to me, like, constantly, like, fucking, how do you do that? Like, I had big arms, big chest. And so I looked intimidating, but mate, I couldn't find my way out of a paper bag. And then so I started getting a bit smarter, and I didn't like, and then my mates moved in with me, and like there was a lot of partying, and then I started staying home and just getting more business minded. And then I'd be the one mate that'd be getting the calls at 10, 12, 2 o'clock in the morning that, hey, you got to get down here, there's going to be a big blue. And
get pissy down here.
I wouldn't fight, but like I remember walking into the Belvedere pub, and there was a bloke there that was well known for giving people shit, and I literally just walked through the door, walked up behind him, put my arms, like my hands on his arms, picked him up and walked out the front door and threw him out the door.
Well, that kind of protective out there for your mates might come back from when you're in school, the bullies and stuff, you know? You probably had that image as well. You just didn't want people to fuck with you anymore.
Yeah. I believe, look, and I can only go back to when I was at school because it hasn't happened since, but I'm very protective of family and friends. And I'm definitely not a fighter, but if push comes to shove, mate, and someone's in trouble, I will fucking beat the shit out of someone if I have to.
Yeah.
I'll give it a good hot crack.
Yeah, and then there's that genuine kind of guy coming out again, you know? Like you're a very humble dude, and, you know...
My mates will be listening to this and laughing, mate, because, seriously, a lot of my mates are fighters. Like they were Australian champion kickboxers and taekwondo and all this shit, and I was just the goofy guy that'd be sitting there drinking piss and listening to music. Like, so they're all going to be listening to this and going, fucking whatever.
So another one is that point in your life, right? Young Dwayne, you got your blokes, your F truck. What do you reckon you'd be like now? Like social media, right, at the moment, is everyone's just got this platform. It used to be years ago, if you wanted to go and advertise and marketing, you needed to go and see experts and build websites and have a real, you know, solid foundation to do that on. But now everyone's got this what do you reckon you would have been like with social media back then?
I'm not sure, mate. No. I hated social media for years. My wife, we had a marketing lady for a long time working for us. So they tried to get me on social media for such a long time, and I just ignored it. Even though I had a lot of shit through those times, I was never flashy with it. Like, I bought the boat because I loved fishing and I wanted to go to more places. I bought the F truck to tow the boat, and then it ended up being a great thing for business, being able to tow a lot of gear around. Like, no one knew that I had houses, other investments and bits and pieces, and like I said, things have changed. Like, everyone thought I was a drug dealer. Like, because I was doing well, everybody, even mates, family, friends, like they got this rumor going around that Pearcey's a drug dealer. And like, mate, I can honestly sit here and tell you, the only drugs I've ever done is weed. Yeah. Like, I've never held a cigarette in my hand.
Yeah, right.
Like, I can't stand this shit.
Yeah, it's pure.
And I used to find it really amusing. And a lot of time I'd run with it. Like, and then when I got the tattoo, fuck, this old lady that lived down the road from me, I started doing some work away. So we went up to Noosa and down south. And so I would be away through the week, and then a couple of stints, we'd been away for like 2-3 weeks, I think one time a month. And this old lady obviously hadn't seen me, and she thought I'd been put in jail. So then there's this rumour going around in the street that and so this is hilarious, mate. I'd forgotten about this, but so I had my 28-foot boat, sport fishing boat, parked in the front yard. And
did you get to use it much?
Yeah, I did.
You did, yeah.
So, mate, I was flat out. So
Yeah.
it changed from partying. So me and my mates, like we'd get home from work, we'd work flat out all day, get home 5:30, 6 o'clock, whatever. If it was Redcliffe, it was like 15 minutes down the road to the boat ramp, go over off Moreton. But mate, we would drive to Mooloolaba a lot of weeks, which is an hour's drive, go out to the Barwon Banks, fish till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, come home, clean the boat, have 2 hours sleep and go to work next day. But because so the boat was going out of a night, this fucking old bag down the road, mate, had in her mind built this rumour that I was a drug dealer. How else could I afford what I had? And so I was going out in my boat of a night and picking up the gear. and then when she didn't see me for a few months, she thought that I'd been caught. And then I got this tattoo, and mate, people would shy away from me because this old lady had basically told the whole street that I was this fucking drug dealer. And I'm the shyest fucking bloke you've ever met.
What's that show? You know, the tattoo show, the cover-ups? We get it changed from to cash flow. I haven't thought of that. That's a good idea. We could change it.
But the thing is, mate,
if it's things don't happen to you, they happen because of you. Maybe after the charity lunch today, a few beers, we might be down the tattoo parlour.
But mate, I've thought I do, like, it's a period in my life, like, it actually, part of it still isn't finished.
Yeah.
Because I got it when I was going through a period in my life and I was angry with everything. And then it's like, I met up with Camille and started settling down. And
so when did things start going like wrong? When did that, you know, you've mentioned you've nearly had 3 times where you've nearly tapped out. When did the down spiral start coming? So you're partying, you're fishing, you're getting tattoos, and then when did it start going the other way?
Not long after I met Camille.
How old were you then?
27.
27, yeah.
So basically built up the carpentry business. So I wanted to start building straight away, but I'm not sure if it was different then or maybe it's Queensland or something. But back then you had to have a minimum of 2 years. It wasn't even building experience. You couldn't do your builder's license within 2 years of getting your carpentry license. So I had to wait a while, and then same thing. I actually got put off getting my builder's license because I wasn't really good at school and I was worried about the study and all this sort of shit. So put it off for a little while, and then a mate of mine, Steve, who's one of the mates I still talk to today, he wanted to get his. So we actually ended up doing it together through Master Builders. And it's the only way I would have got it done, being able to go and catch up with a mate. And then Master Builders had this guy, can't remember his name, that you could catch up with, and like he would like mentor you. So I got through that. So I started...
With the builder's license thing, do you think that it's enough? Do they teach you enough?
No way in the world, mate. No way in the world. But the flip side of that is, if it had been any harder, I wouldn't have got it.
Yeah.
So I think it's a fine line. Like, it's easy for me to sit here these days and go, oh, fuck, you need to know a lot more. But that's the reality. Like, a lot of people wouldn't get their builder's license if it was harder. So it's a bit of a tricky situation. But
because what do you think? Some changes need to be made to that, you think?
My thing, what I'm really hoping to get across, mate, and the whole point of this podcast is I want to show people that it doesn't have to be difficult. And one of the reasons Live Life Build's so successful is everything that we have in our course platform, all the templates, PDFs, everything that we've developed, it's all simple, easy to use, easy to implement stuff. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to be good at school. You don't have to like sit in a classroom. And the only reason that we've been able to do that, like, I've put a lot of time, energy and money into now figuring out who I am, my persona. Like, I hate these days how everyone wants a prescription for everything. And like, I know if I went and got checked, I've got ADHD, like no doubt about it. I've probably got bipolar. I've probably got bloody dyslexia.
I've definitely got a few things going on.
I would rather, like, knowing what I know now, like, I deal with it because I firmly believe that so many people, once they find out, that becomes an excuse. In the back of your mind, it's like, I can't do that because I've got this. And I don't want to be that person.
Yeah, everyone's looking for the magic pill, aren't they?
Yeah. But back to your question, so I think I ended up being in my 26, actually might have been 25 when I got my builder's license. And then what happened is because I ended up getting into a lot of high-end housing with the carpentry business. And so it was a lot of that, when a lot of those developers found out I had my own builder's license, they were getting shit service from these other builders. Yep. So I basically went, mate, from getting my builder's ticket to the very first year, I forget what, $5.5 million turnover.
Wow.
Like within 3 years, pushing $10 million turnover.
Was that always the path you wanted, to get out of the so-called carpentry contracting into more of the building?
My goal was always to be a builder.
Yep.
And so what happened was, through the carpentry contracting business, I had managed to be quite successful. I bought multiple rental properties, invested in properties with my parents, and was just having a great time. Had cars, had boats. I did whatever I wanted to do. Had cash in the bank, and then when I started building, basically the first time was 2 years. So what had happened? I didn't know how to quote properly. I didn't know how to do anything. So all of a sudden, people.
None of it's taught, is it? You don't.
It's taught, but it's not. For me, it wasn't taught in ways that I related to.
Yep.
People showed me how to quote. I got on, back in the day, you'd fucking dial up internet and you'd sit there for hours waiting for it to work, and then you'd do some searching and shit. But I'm one area I'm lucky with. So Sharon, that still works with me today, she's been with me, I think 21 years. Wow. She started with me as a bookkeeper. And then her and her husband grew their business. They became chartered accountants. So she's basically our full-time contracts manager, does all our finances and everything. So I had her to bounce things off. So she would come in the office and help me out. But I would still remember it, mate. I literally, in pencil, would scribble on a sheet of paper all these lines like trusses this much, framing this much, labour this much, blockwork this much. And then she would help me enter that, or I would sit beside her and she would enter that information into what we used to give clients as a quote. But getting the work, same story, getting the work wasn't an issue. And this is what most people are telling me these days. I could get the work. I could have relationships with the clients. I couldn't manage those relationships. And because I didn't know how to run the business, that relationship would turn sour. So I couldn't manage expectations. I had I was just your typical builder that was taught through my builder's license that put 10% on your jobs, you're going to make money. So in my mind.
So how long ago was that? That's what, 15, 16 years ago, something like that?
That is, I'm 43, so 13, 16.
16, and it's not much has changed. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. I sit there next to my wife with this hand-drawn document and asking her to put it into a quote, proposal, whatever they,
Proposal, mate.
Proposal. That's the way to say it now. But nothing has really changed about. There's no real. This is you're kind of the leader of the movement that I could find where.
Number one podcast, mate.
Yeah, number one construction podcast. Don't worry, I'll be telling everyone I'm on the number one podcast. But it's still the same. 16 years on, I'm younger, and it was the same thing. And it was you're out there just learning, baptism of fire. You're just learning by mistakes.
So my biggest failure was in my mind, and this is the answer for your question. In my mind, through the contracts I was using, what I'd been told getting my builder's license, what I'd heard being discussed through my bosses when I was apprentice, even what I'd heard this developers talking about was 10%. And so in my mind, like I said, that very first year as a builder, straight in the deep end, $4-5 million turnover, I'm thinking, fuck, I've made $400,000-500,000. So I'm still spending it like I was spending it when I was a carpenter, but I didn't realise that it was taking 15% to run my business. And every single job I took on was slowly chewing into my cash, and slowly I was going backwards. And the thing is, like I touched on earlier, we're not taught about money. We're not taught about finances. We're not taught about accounting. We're not taught about overheads. And I'm not just talking about building. I'm talking about at school, like in life.
Yeah. You got to learn all these things yourself, really.
And so the flip side of that is, and that's where I got into a lot of trouble. So basically within 2 years of getting my builder's license, mate, I remember I'd only been with Camille for probably 4 or 5 months. And like I'm sitting on the back deck that I'd built on this house that I was living in, crying, thinking like, what is wrong? Like, why am I about to lose everything? Because fuck, I'm turning over $5 million. Like,
that's pretty much, I reckon, a lot of people listening to this podcast right now, people that are in that situation where they're on their back deck crying, going, there's a lot of money coming through, but it's, you know, like I've been there before. You think, oh, I made a lot of money. And then you get that tax bill and you're like, well, hang on a second. I actually didn't make any money this year, but I've spent it all. And
well, your accountant's telling you that you've earned it because you've pulled it out of the business and you personally have made money, but you've actually stolen from your business and your business made a loss. And mate, that was a hard time. Like,
at that point in time,
Camille, she was
with on the money topic, this was another question asked by the followers. What was your relationship like with debt, and did debt help you grow? Like, were you all just purely
back then, mate? Debt just got me into a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So
you wouldn't recommend that as a growth factor?
Again, we're not taught about it.
Yeah.
Like, I love debt now for the right reasons, but
were you
what happened then?
Any sort of overdraft or anything like that?
So we had an overdraft. We were constantly running out of overdraft. But like I don't know. I'm so appreciative that you've come on today to get all this out of me, because I'd forgotten about a lot of this shit, and I hope it resonates with a lot of people. But there's a lot of stuff that's got to tie it together. So in my mind, I'm thinking I'm making 10%. So whatever my turnover was, I thought I had that cash in the bank. So I'm spending it. On top of that, I had no idea what overheads or running costs were. Absolutely none. On top of that, I wasn't quoting the jobs correctly, had no system in place or no program that made sure I didn't miss anything. But probably the thing that made it the hardest for me, 2 things. Banks were throwing money at me. Like banks I would give them my financials. They would see the turnover and the money going through the business, and they were throwing it at me. So I upgraded my F-truck. I upgraded my boat. I fucking bought houses. Like by the time I was 27, between me and my parents, we had like, whatever it was, 8 or 9 properties.
Yeah, wow.
And so every property I bought, like they were getting rents and stuff, but some of them were positively geared. Others weren't. So everything I bought was slowly chewing into the cash that I thought I was making, which I really wasn't. So that's really hard to know that, why would I think that I'm doing anything wring when I've got a bank saying,
this is, let's go.
Yeah, like, mate, what do you want? Like constantly on the phone. Oh, do you need any equipment? Do you need it? Oh, do you want to upgrade your vehicles? Oh, how's your property? Because I had a manager. Like I was doing so much. Like, and the guy rang up. Oh, how'd that last property go that you bought? You ready for another one? Like,
yeah, wow.
And
it's hard for like being in that situation, because everyone's telling you you're doing so well, and you got it. This is how you do well, and all you want to do is you just want to be like, I've got to make the most of this, and you're there just going, well, if they're going to lend it to me, that means I'm untouchable.
Well, I'm thinking if they're going to lend it to me, fuck, I must be in a good position.
Yeah.
But then, so that was the first one, is the bank. The second one, mate, was I had the industry applauding me. Like I had suppliers inviting me to lunches, giving me bonuses. I had suppliers taking me on overseas trips because I was spending so much with them. I was getting asked to speak at industry events. Like we were going to master builders events and winning. Like 2010 to 2012, we were Brisbane's most awarded builder.
Yeah, wow.
We had 5.
So the whole at this point, the carpentry kind of crew had gone, and it's more
by the time I was 28, I'd stopped all the subbing work, and I had 18 or 20 chippies working in my own building business.
Fuck, that's so young. Like to have that. That's like like, you know, even though that kind of went down, now you're back up, but like to get to where you were, like that's fucking hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, look, that was the first time, and I had to sell. So one thing I've never done, I can honestly sit here 100% honest, I've never not paid anybody.
Yep.
So there's definitely been some situations over the years. I remember having to call hardwares and say, hey, I'm in the shit, I fucked up, I can't pay you, but I'm selling this and that and this, and I will pay you.
As common as it sounds, that's actually not as common as you think. There's a lot of builders in the industry out there. It's very cutthroat. There's people, not very many builders would be able to say, I've paid everyone, and that's hand on heart. That's just not.
Yeah, I've never not paid anyone. Yeah. So yeah, I had to go backwards. I had to sell houses, I'll sell cars. There's been times where so that was the first time, but then I didn't learn, mate. Like I sold shit and I paid money back. So that was the hardest part. Like I didn't know what I'd done wrong. Like I had again, Sharon working with me, like she was by this time starting to get in my ear and like constantly be telling me, you can't spend that money, Dwayne, you can't buy that. And so I started to ask more questions about that. And that's where I started getting a little bit of a understanding for, I guess, overheads and tax. Tax was a huge one. Like I just had no idea that.
It's a big wake up call, the tax bill.
When you're turning over that, or you're making that sort of money, what was going towards tax and GST and those types of things. Like there's so much to know. But that was the first one. That was a small one. And then I had another one. It's been twice. The
first one. So we talk. You're spending money. You're buying things. You're thinking you're earning money, and then all of a sudden, is it the jobs, the pricing, or was it all like you mispricing things? Was it not paying your tax? Your overheads were too high. Your personal debts were too high. Is that what it was, or did you have a couple of bad things go sour?
The really bad one was a combination of quite a few things.
I think this is just a really good point, right? Because so many people listen to this podcast and they're like, we're teetering on, this is what I wanted to talk to you about. And the realness is no one shares this story. No one shares the struggle of like, all right, well, half our missus drive a Land Cruiser and we've got all these nice things. And people just think builders have bundles of money, right?
Yeah.
And builders think we have bundles of money. That's what's wrong, and it's just
there's tradies too, mate. Like
tradies in general, definitely. Yeah. They're always the people you drive past and you look and they've got nice shit, and people tell their kids openly, go become a tradie, go be like Dwayne, go be like Lewis, you'll become successful. Little do they know about the sitting on the back deck crying, thinking, how the fuck am I supposed to do this?
Mate, I see so many young fellas now driving around in these brand new dual cabs, these $20,000, $30,000 tool trailers, all their battery gear. And I just think to myself, fucking, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, fucking don't spend all the money on that shit. Like, invest in yourself. Like, buy that shit in the future. Like, so what ended up happening, so I started to learn a bit more about the tax side of things, the GST, but I just still couldn't grasp overheads. I was getting told about it, but it wasn't resonating. I just wasn't clicking.
So at these master builders events, all these great people that you're meeting, and any of these hard conversations coming up back then?
Yeah. So mate, I was by that, like after that first one, like I was reaching out, mate. I was going to every event that I could, but again, I was like everybody. I was looking for that magic answer that was going to solve all my problems, and I just wasn't in the mindset of learning, I think. And so what actually got us through that? So I sold quite a bit of stuff to get out of that situation.
That must have been fucking painful. Or was it free?
Mate, it was painful, but one thing, I was grateful that I was in a position that I had shit to sell.
Yep.
And then, like at the time, like Camille used to get a lot of shit for it. Like we actually got introduced through mutual friends, and it's turned out to be incredible. She's an incredible person, best friend. Yeah, I definitely would not be where I am now if it wasn't for her. But and look, one of the reasons I really connected with Camille was she was a hard worker as well. Like she'd worked her way up in corporate with Suncorp, and with all the shit that I had going on, people thought that she was with me for my money, and like we used to joke about it. But little do they know, there was a 6 or 12 month period where I was living off her. like she was supporting me because I was selling shit to survive.
Yeah.
And look, to be honest, I can't thank her enough for hanging around. Like if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't have got, well, I can honestly sit here and tell you, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have got through it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I don't think the wives get enough credit. They, like how important their role is in helping just actually dealing with us, dealing with the shit and dealing with our problems.
And look, so it kept rolling on. And look, none of my team knew all this shit was going on. Like the business kept working, work kept getting done, job kept coming in. But what happened, like the jobs started getting bigger and bigger. Instead of being $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 jobs, they started being 1.4, 1.6, 1.8. More difficult. I still didn't know how to quote properly.
What kind of hours were you punching out? What was your lifestyle like? Had you given away all your fishing and you were just in?
I was working like I would work from early in the morning to late at night. Yep. Camille would as well, so I guess that was a bit of a bonus. Like we were both working, so
were you loving it still? Like you're part of it? Still had a passion there for that?
I still loved it, but by the time I was 2012. So it wasn't until my big crash was between 30 and 32.
Yep.
And it was huge, mate. Like I had multiple days where it would have been very, very easy for me to not be here anymore. Mm-hmm. But and so flowing on from that, so everything got harder. The jobs got bigger. I wasn't quoting them correctly. Didn't know my overheads. So I was losing money on jobs before I even started them.
How much money worth of work? What's at this point in time? Like you've got
our
projects.
Back then, our biggest volume of work, I think we got to like 9.6 mil or something.
Yeah, wow.
And so it was I had this goal, mate. I wanted to crack the 10 mil. I wanted 10 mil. I thought turnover was everything.
10 mil.
And it was fucking nothing. And at the time, I was with my first with my first coach.
Yep.
And
so you had a builder's coach pre-crash or?
Yeah, during multiple.
Yep.
I tried.
Just tell us more about that.
2010, 2012, awarded, going through all the success and shit. But even though behind the scenes it's a shit show, but by the end of 2012 I was out.
Yep.
I was ready to go and clean toilets, didn't want to do it anymore. And started looking for some coaching. But what happened at the same time, so I wasn't quoting properly, didn't know my overheads, didn't know how to run a business, wasn't choosing the right clients. So every day was just dramas with clients. Ended up doing shitloads of variations that I didn't manage correctly, didn't get paid for. Had multiple clients over a couple of year period that just refused not to pay us huge amounts of money. And when I say huge, I'm talking $500,000-$600,000 over multiple jobs over a few year period. Actually, probably wasn't that much, to be honest. I think it might have been around 4.
I just stopped you there. You just listed off a few items. Everyone that's listening to the podcast should write that list down in their diary and put a tick next to how many things in their business they can relate to at the moment. Because I feel like that point that you were at, not everyone, the volume of work that you had, people probably can't relate to, because to get that much volume of work now in the home warranty and just that's a big amount. But I think a lot of people have got the exact same problems going on now.
Yeah,
and they're listening to someone like yourself to try and get the answers to those problems. So
mate, there was heaps more. On top of them, wasn't running a team correctly, had no systems and processes. I didn't even know what my role was in the business. I was just running around fucking doing everything. We weren't scheduling our jobs. So we're putting dates on contracts that were going over, and then clients were like liquidated. There was heaps of shit going on. Like we did a job at New Farm, which was on a character home, which again, just being young, naive, not enough experience, like had one side of the house that was not meant to be touched. We had it sitting up on props while we were doing the rest of the work to the house. We had a storm come through one afternoon, did a bit of damage to it. I just thought, oh, fuck, we'll pull it down. It's unsafe. Neighbour rings the council. That wall was never meant to, so that cost us 80 odd grand, legal fees and stuff. That was a $1.28 million renovation. We made nothing.
Wow.
Like absolutely nothing on that job. I think it ended up, knowing what I know now with overheads and profit and things like that cost us a few $100,000. And yet that client, and this is a thing that really started to affect me, because that client went on to sell that home 2 years later for a record price.
Builders can relate to that, where they're like, they made a fortune and I did my ass on that.
Yeah. But the clincher to it, mate, to my big crash was the properties. And again, this is the driver for why this is all happening. So I'd continued to invest in properties with my parents, with my old boy. My old boy has been on this roller coaster for 45 odd years, and we butt heads against it. Like, to him, everyone's been handed stuff. Like, you do well, it's all handed to you. Like, why me? Why me? And so he's always pushed very hard, which I see a lot of builders and tradies doing, and he's made good money over the years, but then he's done nothing. He doesn't know how to run a business, doesn't know handle taxes and all that sort of shit, thinks everybody is his mate. And that caused a huge fallout between him and my mum. Him and my mum separated for a little while, caused a lot of issues between the whole family. My dad had a bad car accident, got in, like, drink driving all the time. And I won't go into full details, but mate, I've been through shit that I would not wish on my worst enemy. And my dad's way of dealing with it was, because he's old school, was always to threaten, like fear. So mate, because I'm the oldest, we went through a 2-year period where I would get regular calls, like with him pissed, going off, saying, it's over, I'm done, I'm killing myself, you're going to have to find me, like, you're going to have to deal with all the shit.
And that was at this period in time?
Yeah. So then this is all leading up. I've got all this shit going on at work as well, not like face value, we're doing multi-million-dollar homes, winning awards, and yet I'm dealing with a business, I'm constantly putting out fires, I've got issues with clients, I'm not making money, cash flow shit, not paying taxes, having to go on tax plans. So I'm dealing with all this business shit, and then behind the scenes, my mum and dad are going through a shit fight, to a point where I had to go to court with my mum, put a DVO against my dad, look, I hope it really worries me if my family hear this type of shit, because I've never spoken about it.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to affect our relationship, because my dad's worked his way through a lot of shit now, and we get on, we see, like, I love seeing him with the grandkids and stuff, but we went through I think it's important to talk about, because there's always a way through. But mate,
that's a lot.
I had to deal with phone calls, mate, and my old boy threatening to come and burn our house down with me and the missus and the kids in it. Like, there was a lot of jealousy there, I think, because I'd started to do all right. But what happened was, which created all this, being an old school tradie, like, everyone's your mate. So my mate does this, my mate does that. He'd got put onto this accountant. He never had an understanding of business and taxes and that anyway. The accountant was filling it, like, doing his paperwork, telling him what tax he had to pay. He was giving the money to the accountant, and I still don't even know the real information, but over possibly a 4 to 6 year period, he paid no tax because the accountant was a fraud. And my old man was paying him, and he was taking the money. It turned out to be a massive fraud across Australia. And so we had rental and developments together. And so I knew things were getting, like, he was getting more depressed. He was not doing a lot of work.
You had kids at this point? Or?
Yeah, I had my oldest.
I had your oldest at this point.
And I think Camille was pregnant, or maybe just had her second. Fuck, mate, this is really hard to talk about. But so I was taking on more of that repayment and that debt as well. And it wasn't until I got a call that said, hey, Dwayne, like, I'm not legally about to say anything to you because I represent your dad, but you're about to lose everything.
Wow.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, everything's sweet. Like, I know it's a shit show, but, like, everything's all right. And they're like, no, you're about to get letters from banks. Like, they're going to repossess it all. And I'm like, I didn't know what was happening. And yeah, it turned out that, this fraud had been going on. The old boy thought he was doing the right thing, thought everyone was his mate looking after him, but the tax man had come in and like backdated everything, and he owed hundreds of thousands of dollars in tax, and we had properties that were in both names, and it was just so we that was the one. So, and that hit home. Like that's when it really hit home. Like I'd drive around my truck, mate. There was, like I said, there was plenty of days that I could have fucking just thrown a rope around a tree and would have been a lot easier. And so we lost. I couldn't even tell you, mate. Like at the time, probably on property value, probably somewhere between $5 and $7 million worth of property.
Wow.
Camille and I were lucky. We kept the house we were living in because it was in my name only, and we kept one other rental property because I'd had it in a trust. Everything else got taken.
Shows a lot of character and a lot of strength that you didn't become a victim in that situation. You know, like it shows there's a really strong character and everything you put out there today. So I came in here today to get deep, you know, like sitting, you know, we switched to bourbon, sitting at the back of the pub where we're talking about our emotions. And I didn't think we'd get anywhere near that, you know, because you are just such a humble person that just wants everyone else to succeed, you know. But
Mate, that was fucked. I only talk about this because there are so many people that reach out to me now in that situation and they don't push through.
That's right.
It is hard, but reality is life is hard and you got to push through. So like at that point, like mate, we could not even afford to, like we had this monthly bills and we couldn't pay them. And I couldn't sell shit. Like I was running out of shit to sell, and the shit that I had to sell wouldn't have covered what we had to pay anyway. So I bit my tongue, mate. I actually started reaching out to some of my dad's mates, older mates that I knew had money, telling them the situation, trying to see what we could do. One guy lent us some money, which was awesome. We obviously paid it all back. A member of Camille's family actually ended up lending us a large sum of money. And that was my turning point, mate. So
this is where we get to next. So your pivot point. When did you, like it's easy at that point there, right? Most people would just throw in the towel, I'm a victim, and you'd be sitting there and it'd be a different narrative saying, this is what happened to me, fuck the world, you know? Like it's not my fault, but you didn't take that path. You turned, and one of the questions here is, when did you start like success media? When did you start, and what did you start looking for? Like, how did it pull you out of that situation? Like, any books and what age did you start looking into that kind of growth stuff?
So the turning point, mate, was like for me, it was like I can't even describe it. Like to have to make phone calls to people to borrow money when you're a grown man, you got a young family, and on face value for the previous 6-8 years, you've been fucking killing it. Like
I can see it in your eyes, mate. Like it's fucked. It's fucked.
Like it's completely fucked. And I was like, we couldn't afford it. And I think this is a really important point because I get so many people reach out to me that want to join our Live Life Build community and tell me they can't afford it. I could not afford it at all. But I still remember we had an office under our house, the old house we were living in. Myself, my wife, the admin lady that we had at the time, and like, we're going to have to get coaching, going to have to get help. Like we don't have the answers, so we need someone to help us. And that was the start of a journey that went for 3 years. So basically over the next 3 years from 2012 to 2015. So we're only talking 9 years ago. Like this isn't a long time ago. Mate, I reached out to coaches, mentors that I knew in the industry. And by this time I wasn't on social media, but I was getting shown on Facebook. There were some people on there teaching.
So in the background here, your businesses, you're still just trying to claw through.
Oh, mate, I'm every day is clawing. But every day was fucked, mate. Like I did not want to get out of bed. And then I'd push myself out of bed. I'd go to site. I'd set up the guys, make sure everything looked and sounded rosy. And then I'd fucking go and hide in a car park somewhere or drive out in the country and drive around for fucking 6 hours. And then, because the phone could still ring, I could still give people answers. No one knew where I was or what I was doing, or I was fucking sitting in a side of a cliff somewhere thinking about fucking driving off of it.
Yeah.
Like,
so at this point, you're at rock bottom. And you choose to fight the battle and go against it.
I couldn't give up on my family, mate. Like Camille and starting a young family, like there was no way in the world I was going to fail on that.
Well, you made the right choice, because I'll tell you now, through this podcast, I reckon you're going to save a few lives, because it does get that low, the industry, and that's what people, you know, like it gets low.
It's
like,
fucked, mate. But I can't stress that point enough. Like, everyone that rings me and says they need help and they want to do stuff and thinks they can't afford it, you have to afford it. You've got to put your money into, like, if you don't know the answers, you have to deal with people that do or that have been through it. Like, it is the only way. But my problem then went on to, for the next 3 years, I chased stuff and I went to people that were supposed to be experts, but they're calling themselves builders coach and building associations and all this shit. And yes, they helped me out understand my overheads a little bit better. But the one thing I couldn't stand is, well, there's a few things. Most of them were people that had tried being builders or tradies and failed. Other ones were people that wouldn't even know which end of the hammer to hold. And the one that shit me the most was, and I tried multiple of them, I was just getting regurgitated shit that they'd got from other builders, or like and there's one that I spent a fair bit of time with, and this is no bullshit. We did 6 months, I think, all up with him. I think about 2016. I still get emails to this day saying, "Hey, I've got been given this document. It's got Pearce Constructions on it. What's the go?" I'm like, fuck me, like, make your own shit. Come up with your own systems and processes. Like,
there's a lot of, in that coaching world out there, like the social medias, just giving all these people a platform. And as you say, a lot of it's just about straight out of business books. Let's 10x. Let's concentrate on marketing. Let's get you more work, because more work, more is just the way that they pitch it.
Well, that's just a recipe for more disaster.
Yeah.
So I learned over that period so I tried a few, and then I got to this guy, and look, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him, because he showed me that I needed more than what he could offer. And so the things that he couldn't help, like, to give people an example, like, yes, he gave me a bit of, like, all of them gave me a bit of help with understanding a little bit more about overheads. They didn't clear it up for me. They made me learn a little bit about marketing, team, and all those types of things. But they just could not help me with the day-to-day shit that I was dealing with as a builder. Like managing clients, understanding contracts, like using your contracts as a rule book, understanding your clients' expectations, learning more about the design, like becoming more than a builder. Like,
they hadn't any real experience, like you said. Because we mentioned earlier in the podcast, but when I reached out to you, the biggest surprise was you sent me your number. It wasn't just an automatic. I've reached out to a lot of coaching programs for also like property investments and other things, and just self-development things, are interested in that sort of stuff. And you get a generic back saying, do you want to sign up for one of our it's $99, you get our 1 hour consult, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, they don't care about me. You sent me your real number. And you're a real person telling real stories.
To people face to face and give my number out, mate, for as long as I can, until there's too many people that I can't. But even then, I'll do it in groups or something. Like, without going, like, I've talked about that a lot. So and that taught us. So at that same point in time, Camille was just coming off maternity leave with our second child, and we thought it'd be like free labour, like free admin. We thought we'd be ahead of the game, and like, that was a disaster. Like, who wants to work in a business that's already struggling and not get paid for their time, and not like feel like you're not appreciated, like, and get rewarded for what you do? So that's something we really focus on with Live Like Build now, is making sure that everyone in the business is getting paid the correct salary, like, so you're valued. And so from her background in corporate world, mate, within a couple of days of her being in the business, she's like, fuck, like, no wonder this is a shit show. Like, you haven't got KPIs, you haven't got roles and task descriptions. Like, what's going on here? And So it was a combination of her experience and knowledge, and to be honest, like my supervisor, which I've still got now, Sharon, who I had, I got everyone involved. And I think up until that point, I was just trying to do everything myself. I thought I knew what to do, and I probably wasn't. Well, I wasn't giving anyone else in my team opportunity to give their suggestions. So there was a lot of things that changed. So Camille come in, her experience. For the first time ever, I had a meeting with my team and told them the shit we're in, and said to them that to me, this is how I tell even to today. My number one is Camille and my girls. Number two is my team.
Yep.
And I'll do whatever it takes to make sure that everybody always gets paid. We always have work, and everyone gets looked after. And I take that very seriously. So yeah, I had a meeting with my team, told them the shit we're in, explained to them that I was thinking about getting out of it, but now I'm not. We're going to soldier on. But from now on, we're never going to go back to this situation ever again. So what do we need to do to get out of it? And then on top of that, trying all these coaches and mentors that just couldn't help with the day-to-day stuff that I was dealing with as a builder. And so that really pushed, like, people laugh at me. Like I'm even now, like, I'm useless on a computer. Now that I'm half a finger short, I'm even worse. But Camille used to have to turn the laptop on for me overnight. And so I realized if I want to, because I used to blame the industry. It was always someone else's fault. My clients, my team, everybody else. But number one, I blame the industry. It's fucked. Like, why is it like this? And so over the years, lots of times I've thought, I'm going to change it. And then I'd go back into my old school ways and like, that's stupid. How can I do that? But I got to a point where I'm like, if I want to be successful in this industry, I have to do something about it.
Yep.
And literally, Camille would turn the laptop on. I can see it clear as day right now. Like, in the lounge room, sit it on my lap, I would type out, and then she'd spend 3 days fixing it up and correcting all the spelling. But I started by thinking I had to educate clients. So I actually put together a seminar called Build Your Knowledge Before You Build Your Dreams. Actually ended up turning into an incredible marketing tool, went really well. The coach I was with at the time fucking thought it was great, started telling all these other builders to do this. So, and basically my sister's got a cafe. We did a couple at the Build Design Centre. We would put it out on our Facebook page, and free of charge, people come along, and I would talk to clients about the design process and the contracts and what happens when we get to site.
So just take it back a bit. So after you've kind of hit rock bottom and you're coming out, when did you make a decision? When was the moment where I'm going to help other people? I've got to fix this. When did that moment come? Like, how did that come about?
It's still coming. It's still coming.
It's still
but
coming.
Actually, to touch,
it's on its way.
So to let people know, from between getting the mystery phone call to say you're about to lose everything, going through those months of losing it, not being able to pay our bills in the business, and then making those calls to borrow money from people. From those calls to borrow money from people, so we had no money left in our overdraft, could not pay. Like, I think we had enough money in the account to maybe pay 2 weeks. Like, had no chance whatsoever of paying end of month, which at that time, with the amount of work we had on, was hundreds of thousands of dollars. To having to getting back to level was 10 months.
Yep.
So in 10 months, I made the choice to fucking head down, bottom up, understand my numbers more, save money on jobs wherever I could. We paid both people back that we borrowed money.
Wow.
Paid our overdraft off and got back to level.
Wow.
In 10 months.
10 months.
And so for me, that just started driving me. I was like, fuck me, if I can do this and get better at running the business, my life will be better forever. So, and then also on top of that, having that moment, well, fuck, if all these people in this industry, coaches, mentors, associations can't help me.
Yep.
And just having that committing, like, I'm going to do this myself.
Yep.
So yeah, did that, Build Your Knowledge, because I thought the answer to all my business problems and not making enough money was educating the clients. And then they went really, really well, turned into a good marketing tool. I think it was like on the 5th or 6th one we did of them, I just had this moment where like, fuck me, I'm a fraud. Like it's not the client's fault, it's me. Like I need to be a better builder. So I then put together a seminar called Rules of the Game, which at the time I was with the builder's coach. Being naive at the time, teamed up with him. He loved it. Like I was putting all this content together and he was taking advantage of it all.
Along,
so we teamed up. We did seminars, Brisbane, Sydney. I can't remember if we did Melbourne. But anyway, they sold out. Like we ended up with, I think at Brisbane we had like 47 odd. Sydney, I think we had close or over 100. Like, and we charged $1,000 a head.
Wow. How long ago is this?
This is, fuck, I could go back through my emails and check, but that would be probably around 2016.
2016, okay.
And anyway, so they went really well. And I still remember it. Like I remember standing at the front of all these builders on stage. And so to put that presentation together, Camille and Sharon helped me. We showed them a heap of our spreadsheets, some of the systems we'd put together in our own business. And I remember standing up there and like these builders just staring at me. And I'm like, fuck, they're looking at me like, who the fuck are you? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're just talking shit. But I'd forgotten this, mate. Like, you've got so much out of me today that I'd forgotten about. The first one we did in Brisbane at the Build Design Centre, 45, 47, 50 odd builders. We had a break and I'm saying to this coach guy, and like we had Camille there, our marketing lady was there, and I'm like, this is I'm really nervous. This is going shit. They're staring at me. Yeah. Like they're not talking, they're not taking notes. Like,
$1,000 a head. How many people are there?
It's like 45, 47, something. Yeah. And I'm like getting really nervous and anxious and stuff. Anyway, I kept going, got through the day, and then mate, at the end of the day, when it was time for everyone to leave, 3 or 4 builders left. Everyone hung around. We ended up getting like they had to kick us out of there like 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And this is the turning point, which I don't think I've spoken about for years, and to be honest, I'd forgotten about. The builders were coming up to me and hugging me, like and like one guy, fuck man, I'd forgotten about this. Like one guy come up to me, he was. He said, Duayne, like I'm literally a couple of years away from retiring. I've pretty much lost everything. If I had to come to something like this 30 years ago, I'd still have my wife. I'd have a relationship with my kids. I'd still have a house. And he said, I can't believe you've inspired me to to try and make my life back in the next couple of years. And there was like, it was all, like, we were hugging each other. People were crying. Like it was insane. And it humbled me. Like I got so much out of that, but the real one was it was either I can't remember if it was the following day or the following week, and my phone kept ringing. And part of that course or that session that I did was telling people like you've got to set business hours. Like after whatever hours you want to finish, you don't answer your phone. And this number just kept ringing and ringing and ringing. And I think it was like maybe by 7 or 8 o'clock, Camille's like, you fucking need to answer that. Like someone's obviously trying to get a hold of you. And I answered it, mate, and it was a builder just sobbing on the phone. And he's Duayne, like I was at your seminar last week, and I just want to let you know you've saved my life. Wow. If I hadn't come to that, like your seminar was the last straw for me. Like I was ready to neck myself.
Wow.
And I was like, holy shit. Yeah. Like I didn't realize it'd have that sort of impact, and that's where it all started from. So from that, we started getting builders that come to those events, started reaching out to Camille and I for our quoting process. And we thought, oh shit, like everyone's asking for it. There must be something in it. That's how Quote Spec started. Yep. Quote Spec, then we ended up teaming up with some other people. That now is QuoteEaze. It's best, simplest, easiest quoting, estimating, proposal software in the industry, hands down. Need to get on board with that. And then I just started a journey, but the journey changed because I then realized that I didn't need to educate the clients. It wasn't them. I actually didn't need to become a better builder. I needed to become a better me. And that's where my journey really started.
Yep.
And that's where, like, you've kept asking, like, where does it all come from? Like,
Yep.
I just started picking up little things, and we went to Sydney I got asked to speak at a hardware store for some builders. Camille come with me. We're coming back, and I'm not a reader. And this, when at, little shops they have at the airport when you get on the plane, it was called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Yeah, that's a good book.
And it caught my eye.
Yeah.
And mate, from Sydney to Brisbane, like, I'm not a reader. I think I might have read fucking 10 pages. But,
now you get on to audiobooks. That's the go. Yeah,
and so as soon as I got back, Camille's like, oh, you should get onto Audible. And that's the first book I read.
Yep.
And that was a life changer. Like, and then since then, I've listened to 100 of Audible books, but that was where it all changed, mate. And that's where I'm like,
I'd like to get, just one of the questions here was, what kind of have you consumed in that? So if you could do a list or a post coming up on your socials and share those maybe top 10 books and what podcasts, so we can get a bit of an idea of, what helped change you, because I do believe exactly what you said. You got to fix yourself before you can, help the industry, or, like a lot of these podcasts that you're doing, the sustainable building, all these, it's great. But a lot of people have just got to look within before, and then as soon as you fix that, and then it's all you. As soon as you fix yourself, then your options open and you can do these things, like I would never have been here 12 months ago unless I listened to all your podcasts and stuff. I would have just been like, wanker, I'm going to go and, and here I am asking you questions, and
it's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
But and then it just kept growing, mate. So then from that, I agreed to get on Facebook. So the marketing lady we had at the time, Chantel, she set it all up.
And in the background, Pearce Constructions it's still all going. Yeah, still up there.
It's just getting better and better.
Yeah.
Like and so once I realised that, and I realised, like, it's all me. Like, there's a few things, like, you need to take 100% ownership of your life and what's happening in it. You need to take 100% responsibility. But the two most important things that get overlooked is you have to commit. Life's hard.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter. Life will be hard whether you're successful or not.
Yep.
It's how you choose to deal with things. But the big one is consistency. You have to, and I'll put my hand up. Like, I don't have enough consistency. Like, I would be worth hundreds of millions of dollars if I was consistent, but I go really well for a few weeks and then I fucking have to fight my demons and shit again.
I think that's why you're relatable, you're likeable. You're a knockabout bloke. I'm here with you at your house. I just went and used your bathroom, like I helped you unload your truck. Like, you were on the forklift, your dog's running around the backyard. Like, you're a relatable guy, and that's why I'm here, because I wanted to make sure you were. Because, like, that's the number one. I wanted to see if you're one of these fake things, see if the shed was real. See, I'm here, the shed, there's shit everywhere. Real. The shed's real.
It's all real.
And this has been a real chat, and that's, I think, is the, like, breaking down the boundaries for the builders. And if I can come here and be on board with what you're saying, like, everyone else can, because I'm an arrogant kind of prick, and I can be, I can do it my own way. But I think just breaking down those barriers and sharing this, because we've got a generational gap too. And I think that's what I want the whole industry, is that I want everyone to be able to just help each other and get better. And I've got a lot of missions now, mate, but like, you would know from being here today, like, my purpose is hands down now to create a new building industry and help as many tradies, builders as I can. It's my purpose. Like, it's what I get out of bed every single day for. I still, like, my number one is building. I'll never let my building business go. Like, I love, even though I'm not on site a lot anymore, I love the banter. I love the crew. I love taking a piece of dirt or an old home and turning it into someone's beautiful new home. Yep. But my true passion is definitely helping people. Well, that can come into the next kind of question, was out there, because you've done your tour of Tasmania. You're kind of getting up there now, chatting with a few bigwigs, and it's getting that way. And what about the future of Dwayne and maybe politics or something like that? Do you reckon that's ever there? Because you're there, you're mentioning the housing minister policies. Things need to change. We all know that. The industry isn't just broken, or, all the builders need to sort their own shit out, but also just the actual policies around the industries need to change. What do you see your role in that, and how are you going to change it in that way? Again, because I know you, and you're not just going to roll over and let the politicians destroy it. You're going to
No,
get
look, this will
involved.
be my purpose till the day I die now. Like
Yep.
I'm committed to leaving a legacy. Obviously the building business over time, well, it's at the moment, like we got a DA at the moment for a really large development, and we got a few other things on the cards, but building will always be there.
Yep.
It might not be for clients.
Yep.
QuoteEaze will be around. Like I hope that, although I have no doubt that software will be a huge part in the industry. Yeah, we got a few things in the pipeline for that, but Live Life Build.
Because when you say create a new building industry, and this is the building industry that you're creating, by the way, is the one that I want to get passionate about. How are we going to implement that in legislation? Like, how is
Live Life Build will be the thing, mate. Like,
will be the pusher. Yeah.
I'm not going to get into politics. I believe I can make more change through the podcast and my social media.
Sharing,
Look, I was brought up where politicians, like, people voted for people because the politician was passionate about it. These days, every correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't see a politician that's there for a real cause. They change their mind depending on who's going to vote for them and who's going to pay them.
Correct.
So I don't want to be a part of that.
Yep.
I'm the real deal. I tell it how it is, and I believe I'll have more impact doing what I'm doing now.
Yep.
Live Life Build, I firmly believe, will be the number one community coaching program for builders in the industry. Don't get me wrong, I think HA, Master Builders, our licensing bodies, they all have their place. But when it comes to actually a community and an education program, a mentoring program, a coaching program for builders, there is nothing that comes close to Live Life Build.
Well, that's why I'm here, because I think I mentioned in the message, like, I've been eyeing off Live Life Build for a while. Not that I don't have the money, not that I'm too busy, but it just hasn't been the right moment for me to strike that, because I've just got to work myself out. I've got to sort my own problems out and then go, all right, I'm ready to take this on. So I'm kind of here to cut through the bullshit to make sure you're a real person before I make that transaction and sign up to the course, that it's a tried and tested real thing. And I think that if we could push this kind of out to people.
So Live Life Build is not, like, it was a lot more, like, we have everything in Live Life Build. Like, we basically have a handbook for you to run a successful, sustainable, profitable building business. Everything. Like, honestly, like, we have...
Well, I believe you.
The system, we've spent over $500,000 now building a systems library that I firmly believe, so it starts at your inquiry, handling inquiry, goes right through every single admin staff, marketing, HR, all your on-site management, all your handout, everything. And it is done in a way that's so easy to use and implement. And I firmly believe that even if you have never been a builder or built a house before, if you start with the very first system and you follow every single step and you go all through every single system right to the end, not only will you be able to build a great house, you will build a great relationship with your client, you'll be successful, you'll make money.
Yep.
But, and then on top of that, hundreds of templates, documents, PDFs, like, we have an enormous amount of stuff. No one can come close to what Live Life Build is.
Yep.
I guarantee it. But we know from my experience, Amelia's experience, and the hundreds of members that we've had and still have, it's all worth nothing if you're not in the right place yourself. So that's why, like, we've got 7 other mentors in the business now. Like, we have leadership experts, mindset experts, mental health and well-being, systems and processes. We do breath work and exercise.
Yeah.
And so we're the real deal. We're not just...
I guess it's how do we get people to sign up for a platform like this before they fail, before they're near rock bottom and they think there's no way out? How do we make this a cultural change where it's like you finish your apprenticeship, become a builder, and then it's like, well, this is one of the ways that you've got to run a successful business is to do this this kind of thing. That's kind of what we need to ingrain.
Everything we do is, it's not our way or the highway.
Yeah.
Everything we do is done in a way that you can take away and you can implement to suit your personality, your lifestyle, the type of business you want to have, the type of clients you want to attract. But look, I get it. It's not, I'm not a salesman. I'm not going to sit here and tell the 180 odd thousand builders there are in Australia that they need to get on board with Live Life Build, even though that'd be incredible.
Yeah.
And look, I can honestly sit here and tell you, like, Live Like Build it's a business, and a business has to make money. I'm not doing this for the money.
Yep.
I
can see that in your eyes.
I don't need the money from those businesses.
Yeah.
My building businesses makes money. We've got other investments that make money.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Live Like Build is a business, and it's got to make money to survive and to thrive and to be a legacy. This podcast, like telling stories, being the real deal, being vulnerable, that is how we're going to change this industry. Builders, tradies, designers, architects, like anybody out there, homo, like whoever's in this industry, if you're out there, don't think that you're on your own.
Yeah.
Like, don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Like, one of my mottos is no question is a silly question. And look, I see it in my own team now, like my apprentices and my carpenters, my supervisor and my clients. Like, people find it's hard to break those barriers. And I don't push stuff on people. So people have to make their own decision. But a few things, I guess, to start wrapping it up, because we could definitely go all day. If what you're doing now is not getting you the life that you want to have, fucking do something about it.
Yep.
Like, you are the only person that can do anything about it. Stop blaming everybody else. Stop making excuses. And do something. Look, and I don't care whether you sign up to Live Like Build or somebody else in the industry.
Yeah, well, you've got a lot of platforms where you share free content. Like, everything I know about you and everything I've learned, there's been no exchange whatsoever between me and you. And it's like priceless, the advice that I've got.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily need to be in that state. I don't have to buy anything from you. I've just got to listen to what you've got to say. And then
probably my number one advice, and I think it's something we've sort of touched on a little bit. Everybody at every level, doesn't matter whether you're worth $10, $100, $100 million. Everybody at every level needs some sort of mentor or coach or community. Because like we've touched on earlier, it's who you hang around. So you have to have a community, whether it's a free community. 9 times out of 10 in a free community, you're not going to get the advice that's going to take you to where you want to be. You have to pay money to get surrounded by people like-minded that allow you to feel in a safe space, which is what we're incredibly proud of with Live Like Build. Like, the vulnerability in our community, mate, is off the charts. And as you know from my story, like, once you're in a position where you feel safe enough to be vulnerable, that's where the floodgates open.
Yeah.
That's when you really start to take shit in and learn shit and connect with people.
Yep.
But if I can give any advice to people, like, before you sign up to anybody, coaches, mentors, whoever it may be, do your homework. Like, I thought I did homework when I was trying people, but I wish I had known more about their background. Like, your comment about show me your balance sheet first.
Yeah. You should be able to put runs on the board as you're a coach. Like, and you've got you've explained, you've got runs on the board. You've literally explained then exactly how your business has flowed. But some of these fake
you can't have, like, I see so many people, sorry to cut you off, but
no.
This is something that I'm actually really worried about. I feel like, especially in the last 6 to 12 months and right now, there is so many builders, tradies, random people seeing an opening in our market, seeing that our industry needs help, and starting these coaching, mentoring business and communities and things. And they might have had a couple of years success, or they might have had a great client. Like, they just don't have the runs on the board.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a firm believer now, after everything that I've been through, a builder especially, like, you need more than 4 or 5 years success to be a successful builder.
Definitely.
Like, you might only do fucking 3-4 jobs a year. Like, so in 4 years, you've done whatever, 8, 10, 12 jobs, and you think you're an expert?
Yeah, and exactly. I think that's the big problem with the industry at the moment, is everyone's becoming a builder. You think you're a builder at 25, you can take on the world. Well, really, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Like, you need to get the runs on the board, and to go out and start these communities, you need to be genuine. Yeah. So, and that's...
It's hard. Yeah. So, yeah, my advice is definitely do your homework. Like, ask them. Like, I'd probably have to check a few of these numbers and make sure they're accurate, but, like, off the top of my head, been in business, like Pearce Constructions been I think it's 18 or 19 years now. Obviously, the first half of that was shit, but like we got through. Like we haven't failed. We haven't gone bankrupt. Like we've made it through, and now we are absolutely kicking goals, getting close or over $150 million worth of completed work. I couldn't even tell you the number of clients. Like we would have to be pushing, I would say, somewhere between 150 and 200 completed projects. Like we've got the runs on the board.
And it's only kind of halfway through this journey that you really realise you're running a shit show and you needed to sort it out. And
but look, I guess the other thing to give people confidence, like we've talked about some years through this podcast today, if you take it from when I had that turning point to now, like 9 years, and then 3 of those years were me looking for help.
Yeah.
So you take that out, that's 6 years. 6 years is all it's taken me to get my shit into order, reinvest in property, create passive incomes, build the business back up. Like it's when you get the right advice and the right systems and processes, you hang around the right people, man, like you honestly can have whatever you want.
That's good. Well, we'll start wrapping it up. A couple of things just to close off. Obviously, I hope this conversation gets out there. There needs to be more conversations like this, and hopefully it sparks a lot of people to sit down and talk to people that are their mentors, you know, because they got to, what is it? Never meet your mentor, you know, like, because you could be disappointed, and I'm not disappointed. I'll tell you right. You're the real deal, Dwayne, and it's good to meet and sit and chat with you. And
let us know if you want Lewis back. I think he could become a co-host.
Maybe a new career. And then just one last question that I've got for you is, what's Duayne Pearce's definition of success?
Freedom. Yep.
Freedom. Success is freedom. Freedom. That's it. Freedom. Yeah.
Well, look, again, mate, we could go all day, and this is another. I used to chase the money. I think that was probably one of my biggest battles because of what I. Actually, can we go back a bit to wrap this up? But
no, we can go back.
So I've talked about my journey at the Trust Factory. I've talked about what I've seen my old boy go through. Talked about what I've seen my two bosses go through. I've talked about my own experience. I've talked about all the builders that reach out to me now. I've talked about the builders at those seminars. The common thing is this industry will fucking chew you up and spit you out if you do everything the way that you've been shown, or the way that you don't reach out and get help. So everyone's got to reach out and get help. But everything that I'm doing is because I don't want to see people go through the shit that I've been through. And so freedom, like I used to chase the money, and that was like I still see my old man doing it. I saw my bosses do it. And so the goal was always more turnover. More turnover is supposed to equal more money. Like more money, you can have more cars, you can have a bigger house, all that shit. And I pushed for the money. Like we talked about it, how I bought the boat, I bought the F truck, I bought rental properties, and like the banks were giving me money. Like, and all that did was get me into trouble. And even now, like I get people reach out to me and say to me, like when I say, what's your why? Oh, it's the money. It shouldn't be about the money. And for a long time, I could never give people an answer. Like they used to say, well, what's yours? And I'm not sure. Obviously, you need the money to be able to do things. But for me, it's experiences. So I need money to have experiences, but my drive is I want to have the experiences that I want to have. And that whether that's take the kids to school, pick them up early, whether it's take them on incredible family holidays, whether it's like, I don't want to be that person that's has to save up to go and have a family holiday and then be on that holiday and my kids say to me, oh, Dad, let's do that. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, fuck, like, yeah, can't afford that.
Yeah,
or,
you want to do what you want to do.
I want to do what I want to do, but and when I do it, I don't want to have the stress of, fuck, I got to get back to work. Oh, shit, are we going to win that next job?
Yeah.
So structure, and I think it's been good for my ADHD as well, like having structure, like knowing what structure to have and systems and processes has really helped with all of that. So being able to do forecasts now, like we do planning now, like we forecast jobs, we do financial planning. Camille and I sit down and figure out what our next goals are. How much money do we need? How are we going to get that money? Like, you touched on debt earlier on,
Yep.
and back in the day, debt became my, like, it killed me. It was a bullet, because I ended up with too much of it. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand money. Whereas now...
Well, that's kind of another question we've got here. I know you've mentioned before that there might be something else coming out on it, but I think it's a very big overlooked in our industry is no one talks about it on site. It should be talked about, tradies, everything. The retirement plan, investing. Like where do you stand on that? Just briefly, like where's that?
Well, again, mate, I was just a typical tradie.
Yeah.
Never had super. Never thought about the future. Whereas, and I think most tradies and builders are just living paycheck to paycheck.
Yes.
And when you're in that mindset, that mentality, that lifestyle, why would you be thinking about?
You're not thinking you're going to make it that far
because you're struggling to pay for it now.
Yeah.
Whereas now, I don't know. That really changed for me. Really, when I turned 40, like Camille and I have a self-managed super fund. We've had it for a while. We've got some shares, property, and stuff there. But when I turned to 40, I'm like, fuck this. I've got to ramp this up.
Yeah.
So,
I think that'd be good for another episode. Like, I think people get a lot of value out of that because it's just not talked about on any platform. You can't find retirement, super, those things for specifically for builders and tradies. I think that would be just something that I'd like to hear from you, because I can imagine that you've done shitloads of research on it and and just kind of...
Well, I surround myself with right people. Like, we've talked a lot about people. So when we touched on earlier about what's my circle, I have multiple circles now. So like, I've got business mates that influence me and I can run ideas by, and vice versa.
Yeah.
I've got financial advisor, financial broker, another circle there. Like, but it's all planning. Like, it's all thinking ahead. Like,
I've weaseled my way into one of those circles, I reckon. Which one am I in?
No, but it's mate, look, I honestly can't thank you enough for putting your hand up and coming on, because it's honestly been like a therapy session for me today. I've talked about some shit that I haven't talked about in a long time, or to anybody, and it'll be interesting to see the outcome of that once it gets posted. But
it is what it is. It's out there now. Yeah, I appreciate the honesty and just the rawness and the realness of it all. And like I said, I didn't really have any expectations on today because I didn't want to be disappointed, but I'm definitely not. And it's been awesome.
Is that look, I got quite a lot of questions as well, and look, if I didn't give Lewis,
to keep
my questions, but look, we can tee up another one. We're actually coming down to Sydney in a little bit. We might be able to do one down there with you.
I reckon,
I
reckon that'd be great, because there's a couple of things I didn't touch on as well. So there's definitely, and there's a whole bunch in my inbox I didn't actually get to open because it was just kind of too much. Too much to go through. So I've had more followers now than ever before. So everyone, keep them coming, because when we meet up next, I'll have a whole nother bunch of questions for you.
Sure. Well, look, mate, we'll wrap it up. I really appreciate you doing it. Look, if you're listening to this, you like what's happened today's podcast, or even, I don't know about you, Lewis, but we've talked about several times, and I've actually put it out there. I would love builders and trades to come and sit in the chair and like coach them like in a podcast. Yep. And no one's put their hand up. Like, come and get a free session.
Yeah.
Like, we'll talk through some shit. But,
for sure.
Look, let us know what you want to hear, what you like. If you like this podcast today, let us know. If you want to get Lewis back again and dive deeper, we'll keep it going. But look, follow, comment, subscribe, all those things, because that helps us get in front of more people, which helps us bring better people to you, better podcasts, and helps us continue to make this Australia's #1 construction podcast. Look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Are you ready to build smarter, live better, and enjoy life? Then head over to livelifebuild.com/elevate to get started.
Everything discussed during the Level Up podcast with me, Duayne Pearce, is based solely on my own personal experiences and those experiences of my guests. The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast are for general information only, and any reliance on the information provided in this podcast is done at your own risk. We recommend that you obtain your own professional advice in respect to the topics discussed during this podcast.